And welcome to another episode of The Twisted 10.
What up, guys?
What's up, fellas?
Hello.
Happy Sunday.
So we're
Monday or
Sunday, Monday.
Sunday for us, Monday for you guys.
Sometimes which goes into Monday when we have really long nights.
Fucking time shift is happening, though. This is the first day of the daylight savings shift where we spring forward. So that's
Lost an hour last night, and I slept probably an hour longer than I normally do. So
You're all kinds of
went
fucked
2
up.
hours of my day. On
So it feels like
normally
noon to you at this point.
No, it feels like I don't know 10 at night. I don't know.
Dude, the springtime change with small children is fucking awful. And we had that rocket launch this morning. Did that wake you guys up
I
too?
was wondering what that was.
I'm not
Yeah.
close enough for it to
I
wake
guess
me
that's
up,
true.
but I didn't know that it was there. I wish
Did
I
that
had.
rocket land back on Kennedy Space Center?
I don't know. It didn't wake me up.
Because what woke me up was what I really thought. I pulled up my security camera feed. I really thought that it was knocking on our door. I'm like, who the fuck's knocking on our door? Was it around 4 a.m.?
5:45 was the launch? Or
Maybe we did
6:01?
have- Maybe we did have.
6:01.
Oh, 6:01? Yeah, maybe we did have somebody knocking. Who knows? I got me up, and it takes a lot to get me out of bed. It takes a lot to get me up. You see what I did there, Ron?
Yes.
You see?
Try some Nugenics. No, is that what it's called? Is that the over the counter boner pills?
I don't
know.
Horny goat weed.
When I'll go back to my cabinet and look and see what it's called.
See what the wife has said in there for you. Take these, honey.
You take 3 of them. And they smell like ass, but I don't know.
Maybe that's instructions.
Kinda
Maybe it's
work.
telling you where to put it.
They kind of work a little bit.
All right, so carrying on with our tradition so far with this, hey, it's kind of
our new tradition.
it's kind of working this way, boys. We won't drink every episode, but we're drinking again this time.
It kind of feels like we will drink every
It does kind of feel. I'm okay with that. It's all right for our folks out there that are sensitive to alcohol. Be it by choice or by decision, so be it. We're not saying we're better than you, but we're drinking. So there's that.
Most people drink, I think, here and there.
I think so too.
At
Tonight,
least.
I picked us up a new one. I picked us up the Balvenie. I looked up the pronunciation. It looks like Balvieni. It looks Italian, but it's not. It's a
A
Scotch.
fragile.
This one- God damn it. This is a 14-year age single malt Scotch. And I know you guys aren't always the big Scotch fans, but I'm a huge Scotch fan, so that's what I wanted to drink tonight. But this one is different. So this one is aged 14 years in Caribbean casks, meaning Caribbean rum casks that they make the rum in. Then they sell them to this company, and they age their 14-year aged their Scotch inside those casks. So it does have a little bit of a
Did
grittier...
you say 14 years?
Yeah, 14 years.
Damn.
Age 14 years.
That's pretty impressive. So if it doesn't tell you how long it's aged, do you know there's a minimum it's allowed to be aged if there's no age on the bottle?
So Scotch, I think, has to hit a certain point. I think Scotch has to hit 8 years before it can be
I don't know
considered
for
a
Scotch. I'm going to speak to bourbon and whiskey.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no
specifically.
idea.
3 years. So
that's
if
it?
there is no age, it has to be at least 3 years. That's the law.
Nice. Well, this is pretty tasty, though. I'm digging this one.
Now, you can have something aged a year or two, but it would need to say it specifically. And then most things that are more than 3 years are probably, if it's 5 or more, I would imagine it says it on there as well. But if it doesn't say anything, that means it's a minimum of 3 years. Just a little more knowledge for you.
Cool. You probably will remember this. So I
don't know. Hang on a minute.
You don't remember shit.
No.
So I got married in 2015, and in 2015, that is when Johnny Walker discontinued
Oh, I do remember.
the original recipe, or their original recipe of their green label. So anything after 2015, if it's 2016 and on, that's when they had a break because there was a recipe change and that they ran out of the original Johnny Walker Green for the new one. So we have that, and we are saving that. We're gonna figure out how to sell alcohol for our 20th anniversary, and we're hoping a 35-year original recipe Johnny Walker Green label is going to put us on at least one vacation.
Yeah, I think it will. So the green they moved to silver or platinum, I think. Sorry.
Well, green's back.
Green is back now, but the original recipe, they transferred the recipe from their Johnny Walker Green as a marketing scheme to their Johnny Walker Platinum line.
Platinum.
And then discontinued that at some point, but it wasn't Green Label anymore.
Yeah.
And now that they're back to Green Label, you're right. It's a different recipe altogether. So that year is going to be really, really valuable.
Isn't
at
there
some
like a
point.
Johnny Walker Blue?
That's my favorite.
Man.
Man.
Okay.
JWB, man.
Well,
that's
I was
my
at-
shit right there.
I was at a function recently for work,
Why?
and
You have to explain the air quotes.
okay.
Have you ever seen Eyes Wide Shut? It was an orgy type situation.
It was a function, but people were drinking it up.
So a chamber event. Got it.
Actually, no. It was actually for our job. Like it was our employer, and they put on a nice like holiday function for us over at a local restaurant. And
In like March.
it was open bar for us. Anybody could have anything they want. And I mean, I'll assume my manager looked at that bill and thought, man, bill's a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be. I mean, you imagine.
Were you drinking Johnny Walker Blue?
No, but others were getting Johnny Walker Blue shots from the bar.
You don't shot. See, that's my problem with
Like
Johnny Walker Blue.
$45
per shot. Yeah,
a pour or whatever.
yeah. You
Like
don't
pours.
shoot if you're with anyone anywhere who does a shot of Johnny Walker Blue, they're only doing it to spend the money. That is not the way you taste.
Well, I don't know if they were
rephrase it.
shots.
I sound like a fucking snob. I don't mean.
I apologize. I don't know if they were shots or pours. Like I don't know how.
Okay, gotcha.
I didn't see the content. I didn't really look, but a couple of those guys. So Chris, if you're wondering why, I'm not going to tell you who, but you could probably fucking figure it out. It wasn't me, brother.
I drank Johnny Walker Blue. If you go and buy it at a liquor store, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits, or any of the others, it's like $250 for a bottle for a fifth. So it's pretty pricey. I used to buy it every time that we used to go overseas for work. On the way home, on the trip home, you could get it in the duty free store on the airplane
You said
for $115 for the same bottle. So I would always buy one on my trips back as like a celebratory congratulations to me. I'm coming out of the middle of the fucking worst part of the world. I'm going to drink this bottle before I have to go back. And I always did. But
an
now
entire bottle of Johnny Walker
in a
Blue?
month. In a month, though.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
You didn't like spend a night drinking it.
Well,
Dude, that one night.
Some nights I did.
That one night that Evan Williams I brought over, we fucking hit that bottle. That
We hit it
entire
hard.
night, we almost, there was just that little bit left. We destroyed that
Maker's
bottle.
Mark is almost gone too. That was a full
Damn,
bottle when
we're,
we showed up.
we're some drinkers, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean it's 4 hours. Here, I mean, like we're
With the
here for
after
4
show
hours,
as well.
yeah.
And I'm fat, so it doesn't hit me as hard as it used to.
No, that's true. Hey, speaking of the after show, where can our listeners go to get some additional content, Josh?
Man, so
Like
how
the segue
about
there?
I
Kind of
love
a hard segue.
hard?
Yeah.
That was rough.
I need to drink some more.
I have a big print idiot list for
Cheers.
this. So the after show that they're talking about, that is something for the Twisted Council. They are folks who support the show. They get this bonus content, a 30-minute to an hour-long extra show every week or two as they come out. Then there's a super high tier if you want to like create your own show.
You pretty much tell us what to do in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to tell us what top 10 list you
produce
want
a
us to
night.
do.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. There's a lot of cool stuff for the Twisted Council. There's some perks for our Discord. But if you want to find out more about the Twisted Council, you can go to patreon.com/twisted10. It's got everything laid out there for you. A couple of free episodes of the after show that you can check out. I think it's the first two.
First two, yeah.
First two, yeah.
We also release them to our regular listeners. So if you're listening and you aren't part of Patreon, that's fine. It's cool. But you can hear those same two episodes a few episodes back. They're listed as bonus episodes.
That's right. I forgot we did that.
Mhm.
So, and I mentioned our Discord. That's a little chat room. You can come hang out. We live stream the show. We are live streaming right now to Discord. So we got folks in there listening. If you want any more information about that, you can just go to twisted10.com. There'll be a little pop up on the bottom. It'll walk you through, get you in there. Come say, hey, tell us how you like the show, what we got wrong. We talk about lists that we are not experts on. So
Generally not.
I am very glad that Twisted 10 does not have a quality assurance department. All right, boys. Let's just point that out now. I'm glad.
Like most of the media, we have no fact checkers.
We
We're just
don't.
saying shit to entertain people.
We claim no legal liability for the information that you garner from the show. Don't use us in any of your cited references on papers in college. That's as far as I can
or
go.
do. No, actually do and then send it to us. That's fine. I don't.
That would be fucking
I'm not
epic.
responsible for your grade, but I want your paper and your bibliography.
Bibliography.
Bibliotech.
Bibliotech.
But yeah, and with that, I have brought the list for the evening.
Oh yeah.
Nope. I took some reflection. I took some time to reflect after last week. We had 3 really dark episodes.
We did, man. We went. So we had my list on captivity, like true crime captivity. We had Ron's list of. Help me out there, Ron. What the hell was your list on?
Mine was Deathbed Confessions.
Deathbed Confessions.
And then secret tunnels and chambers and all of
that one wasn't so dark, but that was more like. I mean, I guess it was dark. There was some dark stuff in there. You're right. It was pretty dark.
Don't look through the eye hole.
Oh, I always look through the eye hole. Always.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I got to look through the eye hole.
I sometimes stick stuff through the eye hole.
Well, then how do you see anything? Oh,
I don't need to.
That's a big eye hole. That's a glory hole.
It's not that big.
So you've heard us probably talk. I think we've talked about it on the regular show. We've definitely talked about it on the after show. I took a recommendation from Adam, and I am reading through the Dune books.
Yes.
Yeah. So we've talked about it a little bit.
That's gonna have something to do with Dune.
No, not really. To be honest, I'm sorry.
Way to fucking blue balls me.
I'm
over
glad because I don't know anything about that. I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
So
you're about that way every other episode anyway.
Fat
so.
guy.
Yeah,
Fuck you, Adam.
I'm like at the point where the first Duke has been killed, so he's dead, or he killed himself. Really.
So your list? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But so it went super south after that. He killed himself. Emperor, the new guy, Emperor
Palpatine.
Vladimir?
I'm kidding. Palpatine is a whole different universe.
I don't know. He says a
Spoiler
bunch,
alert.
but I know.
For the people who haven't read it or
you only
gonna
had,
just watch the movie.
70 years or something.
Josh, as bad as he's butchering this right now, it ain't spoiling nothing. You're all right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like
I won't remember any of
the
this
first
anyway.
quarter of the first book is really where we're at.
Cool.
But
you liking it though?
Yeah, no, it's at the point where all of that happened, and then they were ejected out into the sands, and now they're figuring out how to survive out there, which is pretty cool.
Have you met the Fremen yet?
Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, Fremen.
I've been pronouncing it as Freemen
That sounds like
because of how they
Sounds
like Morgan.
you're just making it up.
Fremen.
Yeah,
that just
No,
sounds like
Fremen is how it's pronounced. Well, all right, let me
Sounds made
rephrase
up.
that. Fremen is how they pronounce it in all of the movies and the lore online.
No, I'll take it
So-
because I'm sure they asked the author, "Yo, how do?" And he
Hey,
said
really?
Fremen.
Hey, you know how you fix knowing how things are pronounced in a book? Do what me and Adam do. Listen to the audiobook. You never wonder.
Fucking, where's the plug bell? That's a great fucking point. That's a
man.
fantastic point.
Yeah, I never wonder how things are
Josh is like,
pronounced.
I'm not plugging that.
No,
That's fine.
no.
It's on the other side of my whiskey. I'll move it.
God, this is
He's
good
reaching
scotch. I am
for. Yeah, this is really
I'm for
good.
sure going to drink some more of this. So this scotch, by the way, sorry to
Oh,
cut
I'd
you
be
short.
liking the
This-
Scotch, laddie, even
this
though I'm
Scotch-
Irish.
This scotch does not have that super sharp bitter hit off
No,
the front, like
absolutely not.
like a Johnny Walker Blue or like a Monarch of the Glen or some of the other ones. It does not have that. It's
I
tasty.
drank almost.
Yeah,
my
this probably
whole
didn't need as
pour
much
so
ice
far.
as I gave it.
No, actually, most of my ice has melted already. So.
I hadn't had this. This is my first time having this.
That's
This is
good.
going to be. I'm going to have to go back to this one.
good. But anyway, so I can whatever. I can go fall into the hole that is the book that I'm reading. But one thing that just happened in the book was the main character, his name's Paul. He got what they call a thopter, and I don't want any correction on how it was presented in the original movie because what
Understood.
I have this image in my head of this steampunky sort of jet plane with, but not jet props. Because it's a whole thing about how it's kind of like a helicopter anyways. But so I imagine like a prop-based slipstream sort of thing. Anyways, they fly through a sand tornado and it's a really dramatic scene. But I started down this very short thought that I said, no, this needs to be a list because so much real-life innovation has come out of science fiction.
Oh, sweet.
So my list tonight is 10 things that have been, at least in their modern form, and that'll make sense later, 10 things that have been life imitating the art that is science
Oh God, I want to name one so bad
I
because
do too.
everybody knows the obvious one, right?
Well, there's a couple. Back to the
There are a
Future did
couple.
like 3 of them.
I don't want
I-
to spoil. I don't
I
want to
will
spoil
s-
our list, so I'm going to just shut up and not say anything.
So number
Dude,
10
this
is
is
the
an
number
awesome
one
list.
low-hanging fruit.
Okay,
so
awesome.
I bet we're talking about the same
I'm
thing.
sure we're all thinking the same thing. Should we do it? One,
Wait, hang on. Because there's 2 of them.
1, 2, 3.
Wait, no, hang on. I know where you're going. So
Yeah,
you're a
because
Star
you know
Trek fan.
me. Oh, you're not supposed to say it. You
Well,
know
that's
me.
okay. I mean, this is sci-fi. That's all right. So I was going a different, but all right, well, it's Josh's list. Let him tell us what to do.
Let's see what happens. So before we kick it off, I came across a really cool quote.
Gross.
That I came across a really good quote from Jules Verne.
Oh, nice.
He said, "Anything that one man can imagine, another man can make real." And I read that and I was like, that is the crux of what this list is about. And I thought,
that's a cool quote.
Jules Verne, as you will come to find out, is on this list, which is obviously no surprise.
Sweet.
So to be clear, these are things that were originally envisioned in a book, perhaps, or maybe even a movie or a show, that then became later on, years down the road, an actual tangible thing that was created. Okay.
Yeah, some of these things are, and when I get to them, they'll make more sense when I say the modern versions of them, because some of these things are very old, but how they are used today was drawn from books and media. So it's pretty, it's yes. Short answer, yes, that's what's happening, and you'll see when it's different.
Sweet.
So, number 10.
Number 10.
This is
the story of a girl. Sorry.
Okay, actually, you know what? What do you think? This is the lowest hanging fruit I could come up with. What do you guys think? Say it at the same time.
Tablet.
I was to say Nextel. The
pager? Two-way?
No, the Nextel with the communicator from Star Trek.
All right, I was going tablet. I'm going to assume tablet because that was also
Spock.
That was mini. That was Star Trek. That was mini sci-fis that had interactable handheld devices that could do many things.
But specifically with Star Trek, it was a flip phone that was like a two-way kind of communicator.
Yeah, you're right.
Like the Nextel themselves was specifically like looked so copied off of Star Trek. But I don't know if that's what number 10 is.
It is not what number 10 is, but I was curious what you guys saw as low-hanging fruit. I actually... Remind me to talk about tablets either before or after the break, because it's not on the list, but it came up a lot. So I just got some cool facts about the design of tablets.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, so number 10, automatic doors. Which was the number one low-hanging fruit to me. So automatic doors, the first time they appear in a book was H.G. Wells' an 1899 serialized story. They published it in magazines, in a publication. They published it in a publication. But it was called When the Sleeper Wakes. The way it was designed in his world is that the door went up. It raised vertically into the front face of the buildings.
It's like a garage door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically. However, when the company is Horton Automatics, they invented the first real one. One of the design challenges that they had was the vertical design. It didn't have, the terms that they used was that it couldn't be. You could be pushed in too easy. Jesus, so they had a more technical engineering term, but it was basically you could push through because there was only the one support point on the top.
Gotcha.
So it was really easy to push them in. So they went with the horizontal style that we know today because it had more structural integrity. So that's what I'm going to call it. Because I can't remember. I wish I had saved a link for it.
Yeah, those are everywhere. So your traditional grocery store door that opens by itself, or what have you. That's cool. That is a pretty low hanging fruit one. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought about that one as that one as the number 10 one on the list, the low hanging fruit. But yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
Do you have any other H.G. Wells references?
Absolutely.
You do?
I
okay.
do.
Oh.
I will leave it then.
Stop looking ahead. Stop cheating.
I wanted to mention a movie that has nothing to do with his list. I'll just save it since you got some other H.G. Wells stuff.
Cool.
I'm going to save it till after you're completely done.
All right, cool.
It's nothing. It won't spoil it. It wouldn't spoil anything on the list anyway. But
Time Machine. Are you going to say that the Time Machine has now been invented too? Sorry.
So it was invented by Horton Automatics, by the co-founders D. Horton and Lou Hewitt.
D.R. Horton, the house builders?
In 1954.
I did hear that he saw a Who.
Damn, that was the way better joke than my stupid.
You're right. I wanted to one up you there.
Yeah, you 5-upped me. Mine sucked.
And the last fact I have about automatic doors is that they were brought to market in 1960.
Wow, that actually seems more like current than I would have expected. I would have expected them to be around
So Star Trek really just copied H.G. Wells from 67 years earlier.
Do you know the thing about Star Trek too? By the way, those doors, the sound effect of those doors is literally a person making the sound that they recorded. It literally is a person's voice.
That's awesome.
It's like a pop-up trivia kind of thing back from like late 90s. But you that is literally a person's voice, like a production assistant, somebody's voice that made the sound, and they loved it so much that is what they went with.
That's awesome.
Some dude in a fucking mic going.
Imagine if that guy dies. They're like interviewing people. Okay, now you go. Okay, now your turn.
I'm going to do the impersonation.
You're supposed
of
to do it, and then Josh was supposed to do it. Man, you blew it. Forget it now.
I'm sorry.
No more participation jokes. I'm just going to tell my own jokes and not rely on you guys.
Bad prov, bro. We did bad on Ron's prov attempt.
No, I did it when he pointed at me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just Adam.
Yeah, but Adam ruined it.
Adam ruins everything.
I like point to him. I look at him. God,
It's such a good show.
I didn't know what you were pointing at. A booger?
I was pointing at you.
No, I know you were pointing at me. But I didn't know that was my cue to.
What was such a good show?
This is awesome.
Star Trek.
So Star Trek did come up quite a bit as the first visual. Like it was used in Star Trek before it was a thing that was massively adopted by the market. So Star Trek also was pulling the same inspiration, because I thought going into this that it was from Star Trek.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure about that one. I would have
Yeah.
figured somewhere along the way someone else had invented automatic doors.
When was
If you
Star
had
Trek-
told me when you said automatic doors and said Star Trek, I would have been actually surprised.
When was Star Trek the original?
66 to 69?
That's pretty old. All right, that's dated in itself at this point. All right.
Absolutely. That's 55 years ago?
Did you do that in your
math
head?
right? I did. I did.
Good thing you don't work with numbers for a little. Oh, wait a minute.
Wait. Speaking of
I'm
numbers,
coming at you tonight, bro.
So number 9.
I'm getting you back for last week.
Last week was rough.
Did you listen to
Yeah,
that episode?
I fucked both you guys up.
Yeah, you did. My ass is still sore.
On the regular.
My eye hole in my painting is still sore. Think about it.
No.
Think about it.
No.
Eye hole in the painting.
No. I'm not putting my eye in your ass.
That's how you get pink eye.
And look in it.
So speaking of numbers,
My ass
Number
sounds like
9?
Number nine is another of the low-hanging fruit, the cell phone.
this. Ah, yes.
Yes. So the concept of a cell phone as the modern adaptation of a communicators, where the first first industrial cell phone as we know it was invented by Martin Cooper, director of R&D at Motorola.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave credit to the design inspiration to the Star Trek communicator.
Nice.
So the
You
first
got number 9, Ron. You got number 9.
yeah, right there
That's
up top.
close.
Now, the original ones, too, from Motorola, I had one because my dad worked for a company called Cellular One.
Cool.
He used to sell these fucking giant phones, these big bag phones to these
I can't
rich...
see your dad as a salesman.
Oh, dude, he used to sell all sorts of stuff. He used to sell it to all these big rich people in Brevard County. And I was, at the time, 16 years old, driving my Geostorm back and forth to Melbourne High School. And he's like, you need to carry this. I got it for free from the company. You need to use it. I was the fucking shit in my high school because I had a bag
the
phone.
bag phone?
It was a bag phone.
You were
totally
Zach from Bayside.
without his looks or his girl. But you would plug it into your cigarette lighter adapter. It wasn't a battery power. You plug it in, and it was this big ass fucking bag.
That's awesome.
And I mean, you pick it. It was as big as a regular phone at the time, and when you hit the numbers, I mean, it was fucking loud. But dude, I was the shit.
it like
'cause I had
a
it. It wasn't rotary.
rotary?
It was digital. It was
Rotary
I don't-
cell phone. That'd be badass, right? It'd be a little
That would be
annoying.
kinda cool.
That would be cool for like 5 minutes, and then I'd be annoyed with that.
T9 typing would be the worst.
Oh,
Capital T, capital U, capital V, lowercase t.
Now, just quick little thing: the old phones, like the old rotary phones and the old like house phones. Did you know if you have a phone number, as long as it doesn't have a 0 in it, you could actually dial the number by tapping on the receiver?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could go like if the number was 727-3231, you could go 7 Like click on
this
it
is
7
Hollywood
times.
rules, Ron. This is Hollywood. We're production.
Oh, 555.
There you go.
The number was 555. Anyway, I just thought I'd show that out. I mean, Adam knew it because he's a smart ass, and that was the one thing he decided to remember just to show me up.
No, so I remember weird trivia. I won't remember important shit.
Have you
like my wife's
Have you ever
birthday.
actually tested it to do it?
Not now. I don't have a phone that's that old.
Yeah, nobody does. But if you ever actually, if you could plug in one of the old phones and still do it, it still works.
Plug it into what? My docking port on the bottom of my phone? Or what? I don't have a landline.
Somewhere in here you have a phone jack.
No.
You may not have phone service, but you have a phone jack.
Plug it in. There's nothing. It goes to the other side of the wall and it's cut.
Do you guys not have a house phone at all?
Oh,
even
hell no. Who has house phones?
I
now?
do. I still have a house phone number because the reception in my house is so shit.
Well,
that
that's
I still
fair.
have a house phone.
The majority, I would be willing to bet a fucking
Probably
paycheck.
80% of people
Yeah,
don't.
I would
At
say.
least in I here,
Continental
80%.
United States. Yeah. I
Yeah.
would go this.
Well, you could go to some podunk places. Like I was just listening. I don't want to get off too far. Real quick, I was just listening to a podcast that literally just a month ago got fiber. They're YouTubers, and they said that it used to take them for a 10-minute YouTube video 4 to 5 days to upload it to YouTube. And now they got fiber and takes them.
Why don't they
20
just
minutes.
use Musk's new fucking Starlink, baby?
Starlink,
That's
man.
fast. 125 megs.
Is it
down there.
going now?
100 megabit.
Yeah. Well, select locations have got access to it. Yes.
Oh,
So
I
you
didn't
can
even
sign
know
up.
that.
So expensive you have to prepay for your equipment too. It's like $500 to get signed up. It's absurd.
Aw.
But dude, you have
For now.
internet anywhere.
I thought
Yeah.
yeah,
that's cool.
but what equipment? Now you know what?
It uses a
after
dish,
show
but-
conversation.
Add that to our after show.
Yes, there we go. Sorry, Josh, we got off there way
No,
off.
you're good.
My bad.
This list is going. You understand
Yeah.
that this list is going to tangent hardcore.
Yes, I believe
It's
it
all
is.
good.
You're talking to Ron and Adam, and we're the biggest geeks inside. I mean, I know you are too, but we're
I'm
going to
excited.
geek out hardcore because it's all referencing sci-fi shows that are part of our childhood and our adulthood too.
Yeah.
But you know,
Yeah, it was all before Josh was born. When
God, I really
when we
hope-
were 20.
can you answer just this? Because I know we've done 10 and 9. You still have several more to go in this half, but is there any reference to Stargate in this
There
list?
might be.
Okay, god damn it. There's one that the tip of my tongue I want to say it, but all right, I'll leave it alone. Because
So-
it was on the show, then like 5 years later it was a real thing.
Yeah.
Like that fast.
So I will bring it back with one last factoid about cell phones.
Yeah.
They have also appeared in writing in similar form from Fahrenheit 451. So it's not on the list. I didn't double check. Yeah, it's not on this list. So Fahrenheit 451 had something called seashells. No,
No, that was Demolition Man. That's how you took a
shells.
shit.
No, that's how you cleaned
how
your shit.
how you wiped your ass.
Yeah, the 3 seashells. Yeah.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 shells.
What a weird guy. I mean, everybody knows how to use the shells.
Wow, we
I
did
don't
it
get
to
it.
him again.
I don't get it. No,
Have you never
so-
seen Demolition Man?
no.
Oh, you.
Wesley
need
Snipes and Sylvester Stallone
and
talk about the two weirdest
Sandra Bullock.
The
Yes.
weirdest and Sandra Bullock.
That's
the
an
weirdest
absolute-
combination of actors, but somehow turns into a fucking brilliant
That's
movie.
an absolute have to watch for you, Josh.
And Taco
You will
Bell
enjoy it.
won the restaurant wars.
So
What the
every
fuck?
restaurant's called Taco Bell.
Restaurant wars.
What was I was saying something.
We're gonna tangent
I
you
was
so
building
hard
to
tonight.
a point. Let's see.
You said you were looking for something.
seashells.
Yeah, seashells.
So, in Fahrenheit 451,
God damn it.
seashells. I was wrong. They're not on the list, but that was they were earbuds. They're like wireless earbuds, or Bluetooth earbuds. Seashells, and they had another term for it in the book. That was
They
one
were
that came
called.
up.
They were called Dr. Dre Beats. This
and
scotch is
so-
fucking me up, man.
This show's only gonna go downhill from here.
It's
All right.
gonna be one of those.
All right,
Weird.
all right.
The more
It's
we
always
drink,
on Josh's
Hard
list.
break.
it is.
Fucking hard break.
It's
number
always
8.
on Josh's list.
It's weird. The more we drink, the more downloads we get. There's a formula here. It's working, guys. Just go with it.
So number 8 is the taser.
Taser, really?
Yeah.
Anybody here been tased?
Yes.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking
You guys both
sucks.
have?
Yes.
100%.
Fucking hurts. Now I've been touch tased, never shot with the prong.
I've never been. Yeah.
To be fair.
I've never been prong tased.
Yes.
But I've been.
Do you guys want
Twice.
to? Do you guys want to be
No.
prong tased?
Once in my arm.
I never want to be tased ever again.
Oh,
Once
wow,
in my
we're that
arm
bad?
and once in my leg. Yeah, my friend who was a police officer, I asked him to do it I have a whole story, another after show story. Guess
That is a
what?
good one.
Didn't you
Next
do
after
it
show
for
when I got
police,
tased.
police training, like when you were
I
thinking
did
about being
it
a
because
cop?
because I was thinking about it and I thought I need to know what this feels like because they'll probably do it to me in
Dude,
the
that's
academy.
a great after show conversation because I know
putting
some of
it
the
in there.
shit you
That-
did in that. That's a great story. Did you
Yeah.
know Ron was almost a cop?
I did. He was trying to save that story for the after show. That's what he was
That's
saying.
that's what I'm doing right now. After
Well,
show.
that's just a teaser. Trying to get listeners to go buy the show, Josh. That's what we're trying to
Tased.
do.
I'm gonna put tased and confused. That'll probably be the title.
We're gonna be like, what the fuck are we talking about? We're gonna finish this bottle of scotch and have no idea what your reference was.
All right, number 8. He's trying so hard to get there.
That's fine. That's fine. So the taser comes from a character, Tom Swift, from a set of books from the early 20th century. I unfortunately didn't write down the name of the books. My bad. But a NASA physicist read one of the books and he took it as inspiration. So taser doesn't by itself actually mean anything. It is an acronym that stands for Thomas A. Swift's electric rifle. So he took from one of the inventions from the book, which was a taser, he used that to build his real life version of it, and he called it a taser in homage to the character.
Awesome. How did you do, like, how did you research this? Did you just kind of start looking through Google to find stuff that appeared in books, movies, etc., before it actually appeared in real life? Or
I would love to say that I started with that abstract of a concept, but I started with science fiction concepts that became real. That was my first search. I didn't...
Tom Swift is the name of the series too. It's a 33 book series, and it's always Tom Swift and his something. So it's Tom Swift is the name of the books.
That's why I didn't write it down.
because it was. You did
was
write
the-
it
Well,
down.
I did write it down.
You did.
Okay,
Exactly.
I misunderstood my own notes. All right, cool. This, much like your list last week, is one that I actually wrote a little while ago. I should have probably read through it a little bit.
Revisit it.
Yeah,
more
that's
thoroughly.
what I did, and I was like, it's like a whole new list. Wait, this is really interesting stuff I'm reading here.
Yeah, I need to read some of these books. These are cool. All right, so yeah, that's the taser. So he named it after the character, Thomas A. Swift's electric rifle.
I like that better. The cop takes out his electric rifle.
Yeah, ride the lightning.
Sound effect again.
Oh man,
Nah,
I
it
never want
was
to get
horrible.
tased ever
It wasn't
again.
bad.
Sounded like a machine gun, not a taser.
More taser stories or more being tased stories in the after show tonight.
Taser face. Oh, that was Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
That was brutal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a horrible name for that.
That was
dude.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so number 7,
Number 7.
the submarine.
Awesome.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Definitely
So-
not from Star Trek.
So
they
this is
didn't have submarines in Star Trek.
this is one of the ones that the concept of underwater submersible wasn't new. People were doing it, even if it was simple as an overturned, because
20,000
people
Leagues
on
Under the
Reddit
Sea?
got fucking mad. Yeah, this is 20,000 Leagues. Because it was a disagreement on Reddit, if you can believe that, where a submarine as a submersible can technically be an overturned, hollowed out tree that a bunch of people hold underwater so they can breathe. So this is one of the ones in the beginning of the show you asked, are all of these new from science fiction that came real? Not always, but the modern version of what a submarine is now as we know it does come from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea from Jules Verne.
Nice.
So-
Jules Verne was an imaginative dude. 1850? What was he? When was he around? 1860?
Sometime in
Late
1800s.
1800s, yeah.
He was really a time traveler that went back and just wrote books to sell.
That'd be pretty badass.
So there was.
that's true.
I had it on here. So there was a comparison drawn between Jules Verne and H.G. Wells. Jules Verne wrote stories about humanity kind of being inventive and explorative and kind of the adventurer's spirit in the science fiction concept. So he made things up, and there was a lot of new concepts of travel. That was a recurring theme in what he wrote, was new ways to travel.
And Jules Verne's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was a
would
lot
make
of things.
sense. Yeah.
Versus like Wells, who was very much strife for humanity, end of humanity types of scenarios, War of the Worlds, that kind of stuff, where he just
Time machine.
like the future tech was coming to us. Yeah, I guess other than the time machine stuff, but like
that was still kind of apocalyptic in essence because of how
is
Time
true,
Machine
man.
progressed forward. There was no, civilization as we
he
know
went
it
into
changed.
dystopian society.
Yeah.
that was the one they made in like 2004 or something. They made they made that into a movie, right?
We've talked
it got
about
so much.
It was
got
an
so much
original
hate. I loved
movie in
it.
the
I loved
50s or
that
60s.
movie.
The newer one?
Yeah, I loved it.
I remember
It was
liking it too.
Horrible.
So if you're trying
Compared
to
to the old one.
if you're trying to compare it to the impact that the original had, of course not. Of course, it doesn't have the impact the original had when it was released. However, it was still a fantastic production. The actor that portrayed whatever the dude's name was a fucking brilliant actor. The special effects in that movie were on point. The CGI was awesome. The storyline progressed really well. It was a good movie. I'm getting dad eyes from
You
Ron.
are. This is,
Yeah,
I was a teenager for the reboot, so it was new to me, and also like I didn't know the story, I didn't know the book, It was just a cool special effects movie because that time machine, the big blue bubble, and all the eons passing in the background, it stuck with me, obviously. But okay, so in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the ship is called the Nautilus. There was an American inventor named Simon Lake. He saw it, he read about it, and he saw it as viable. He saw it as a thing that could be done. And in 1898, he finished the Argonauts, which was his prototype, first design of an open water enclosed submarine. So the submarine as we know it was from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which came out in 1890. I think that was the date. I think it was 1890.
Wow. So
But-
8 years later?
But he invented it.
That's pretty quick.
No, it is that close because when he invented it and it worked and he got like written about and like press for it, Jules Verne wrote him a letter congratulating him and complimenting him. So he took inspiration from the author, and then it was still in the author's lifetime. So the author like recognized him.
That's
and
cool.
He got to like
That's
like,
awesome.
meet
That's
him
super
and do
cool.
a thing. So
Just getting a letter from Jules Verne would be fucking cool.
Yeah, even back then, especially back then, probably.
especially, yeah. I wonder if he was a living master, to use a painter's term. Did he have renown in his day? I don't know. I know he has it, now.
Yeah,
as
some
a
people
problem.
have it later on,
Yeah.
even after their death.
I'll take the band Sublime as an example of that. Sublime was horrible until Bradley Noel died. Then they went fucking multi-platinum.
Such a great example of scientific and
Well, talking about celebrityism.
great writers of our time. Oh, Sublime. Yeah, fucking.
Have you heard 40 Ounces of Freedom, Ron?
That's a weed head's answer if I ever heard one. Not that you're a weed head.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Sublime, man.
Our listeners just turned on you, by the way.
It's like
You're going to get some hate mail.
it reminds me of Bob Marley, and I'm gonna get hate
Weak.
mail for that. We don't.
You could come at me better than
I
that.
told you that
Come
I'm
on.
already pissed off that we don't get more hate mail. Like something. Give me something.
Here it comes.
That means we're not doing it right.
I said
Here it
it
comes.
before, and no one's done it yet.
Are you
guys
calling
are
our listeners
idiots,
pussies?
You're horrible. Yes.
Is that what you're doing? All right,
Ron's calling you
listeners.
out.
That is
Maybe
Ron,
they actually like our show and they think we're
Ron
hilarious.
at Ron at twisted10.com.
That's
for
not
any-
that's not an actual
No,
email,
no.
but
You know-
Adam at twisted10.com is.
You know what? How about this? Show at twisted10.com.
There you go. That's a real one.
Send it.
twisted10.com.
Talk shit to Ron.
Send
he
an
gets
email.
those notifications right on his phone.
I do actually.
He will see that first line immediately.
He needs to be put back down in his place.
I will
That's
read
what's
it.
happening.
I will read it.
That's fun. So yeah, that's the submarine. I don't know how we.
Have you
got
guys
all
ever
the
been
way
on a
there,
sub
but-
before? I know our
I've
former
been-
host of the show, Tach, has, but have you guys ever been on a sub?
I've actually been on one when it was in dock, not out to sea. So
Gotcha.
it wasn't submerged, but yes, I was in. It was with Tach. I was in one of Tach's.
sweet.
It was either the main or so it was a Trident submarines, which means one of the bigger ones, obviously nuclear. Those are built where the inside is built, and then they built a shell around it. Versus like a fast attack type sub, where they built the shell, then the insides
Then
are a
they
lot more
cram the shit
crowded.
in
Yeah,
there, yeah.
exactly. Plus, those subs are made to get to places a lot quicker, where Trident submarines really don't serve.
So
that
my
purpose.
father, before he kind of left the Port Authority. My father used to be the director of travel and tourism at Port Canaveral Port Authority. Before he left, he spent 21 years in his career there, and he did all sorts of crazy stuff there. Now, I guess crazy is a bad choice of words. He was a director there, but he never did anything
a lot of
else
fun
crazy.
stuff.
He did a lot of fun stuff, yes. One of his really cool assignments, he got to go out and he was doing, it was promotional stuff for the port, and it was one of the subs that happened to be docked here at Port Canaveral. He got to go out into the ocean.
Who was your dad docking with?
It would have been the Navy captain. He got to actually drive the sub, meaning he was behind the helm, really. So I guess he wasn't like the captain, but he got to steer behind the helm.
Exactly.
Well, it was still surface. They weren't submerged, but it was still surfaced. But he was in charge of the helm behind the sub for like 10 minutes. And
that's cool.
Whatever it was.
That's like
it's a really cool story.
That's actually cool. That's pretty awesome. I'd love to do.
Actually cool? Like you didn't think he was going to follow that up with a cool story?
No, I didn't. It was coming from Adam. I doubted it was going to be a cool story.
The only way to impress Ron at this point, Josh, is for me to tell the story of my dad actually docking some other dude. That's all. That's what it's going to take.
It's definitely a way to entertain me and keep me enthralled.
I got to say, if you told a story about your dad docking another dude, I would also be at attention because I would have learned a lot about your dad.
Would you be at attention or would your penis be at attention?
Funny thing was, it was Josh.
Both?
So there we go.
Oh,
Both.
That's cool though. I didn't know your dad had ever driven a submarine.
Yeah.
Tach has as well when he was in the Navy.
Yeah. Well, Tach was a submariner. That was his assignment for 4 years.
8 years.
Was it 8 years?
Yeah, because he did 4 years in, was out for a little bit, did 4 years in again, all on Trident submarines.
Have we ever asked him how much time he has underwater? I know it's a thing that submariners keep track of.
Great question. No idea. No, I've never personally asked him. No.
Tach, if you're listening in Discord, shoot us a message, man.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right.
Okay, so wrapping up the last item on the first half of this list. Ugh, that was painful. Number 6.
Number 6.
Number 6 is the credit card.
Oh, okay. I can see this.
This is another one. I'm going to lead with an interesting fact about credit cards. The credit card, as a concept, as a stand-in for money, if you will, is actually the oldest known record of a credit tablet system is 5,000 years ago.
Holy shit. Mesopotamia.
So that's more like a tab, like put it on my tabs kind of thing.
Yeah, it was
probably more of like a king's decree or an emperor's decree, meaning this person has the authority to purchase on behalf of
the Iron Bank.
Trust of the king.
The Iron Bank.
Seriously, I'd be willing to bet that that's where this is going.
That is exactly where it's going.
Oh yeah, in your face, Ron. Suck it. I just wanted to say that.
It was the Mesopotamians.
What the fuck? Ron's like, what did I do, man?
They
docking my dad. That's all I gotta say.
Docking your dad? Well, yeah, that's a story I'd like to hear in an after show.
So the Mesopotamians, they used clay tablets, and it was primarily
Clay
used
Grove?
not necessarily at the.
Josh is gonna beat your ass.
I don't get it.
Clay Groves is our friend at Fish Nerd Podcast. Give him a plug for
right.
sure. That was a really rough stretch for Ron.
I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, Clay.
You deserve a better joke insert than that.
Yeah, that was. I should have. I wasn't listening for a name. Is really what got me there. So, the Mesopotamians about 5,000 years ago, they used clay tablets to conduct trade with the Harappan civilization. So it was primarily used at a state level.
Was that Snoop Dogg again? Were they rapping?
I knew you couldn't let that one go. Her rapping?
There was no way, dude.
You still owe us one for number 1 last week. Just saying.
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't. There's no Snoop Dogg plug for number 1.
Oh. Well, there it was. That was for number 1 last week on the Deathbed Confessions.
So that was just supposed to be a little factoid about them. So they used them, massive businesses, and at a state level because they had a good trade relationship. They could basically what we call futures now. They would trade in advance. They would give them gold in these tablets and say, yes, when this harvest is done, we'll give you whatever, however much they bought. So it was just as a credit system, as a non-currency way to trade, other than of course bartering. It was the original. So,
do you have any tie-ins to science fiction or anything for?
I do.
Credit cards? Oh, cool.
Yeah, for this one. Yeah.
Well, before you say it, can we take a guess? Where was the first credit card system that we've seen?
You mean where?
Okay.
Josh is like, you're never gonna fucking. Get
I don't
this.
think. You know what? I don't think you will, but absolutely. Where do you think it came from?
I'm going to go back to actually cartoons. So I'd go back. No, so that was produced when credit cards were actually around. So that's kind of pointless. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
So this was a book published by Edward Bellamy in the late 1800s called Looking Backwards.
Oh, yeah. I definitely don't know that.
I had never even heard of this one. But he wrote it, and this is actually one that I put down on my list of books that I want to get my hands on to read, because he wrote about his vision for the year 2000. He was an American who wrote in the late 1800s his vision for the year 2000.
That would be pretty cool to read. Yeah, for sure.
So it's
what was his name?
Edward Bellamy.
I know his distant relative.
Bill Bellamy?
Yeah, of MTV.
Is that what you were thinking?
Got it.
I had already thought about Bill Bellamy. I'm like, I'm not making this joke. It's dumb and it's dated, but I wasn't going to let you beat me to it.
Do you know who Bill Bellamy is?
God,
that was like from the 90s. He used to do the
MTV shit, right?
Yeah, but it was like the really cool shit, like the spring break, like what was the show? The grind, maybe? There's a dance show.
It was like a spring break dance show.
In 1990,
summertime.
like 1995, it was like a dance party where they would dance on MTV. It was nothing but music and a bunch of people in bikinis
It was like
dancing.
an MTV version of Summertime Bikini Soul Train, if you will.
100% right. Yeah. You got it. You nailed it, dude. That was the best analogy you could get for that. That's right.
1995, you said?
Not for
right
Josh.
about 95, 94.
Yeah.
Not
I was
for Josh
7.
because yeah, but not for Josh because he wasn't even born when Soul Train was on. He doesn't even know what that is.
This is true.
The Soul
We need
Train.
Soul Train was
we need a
awesome.
fourth mic who's like 8, so I can just talk shit to them all night. What do you mean you didn't watch the original run of Pokemon?
Or we need another mic that is exactly your age to talk shit to me and Ron,
What
the
do
old
you
guys
mean?
in the show.
What do you mean you don't know who Britney Spears is?
Everybody knows Britney Spears.
An 8-year-old might not.
So credit cards. Edward Bellamy.
We stretched that.
He got basically everything else wrong about the world. So
So he wasn't a very good writer.
it wasn't. I mean, it was described as a good book. It's well written, but it's not. He imagined that America at this point would be, don't you guys do it, would be a socialist utopia by now. So
Good job. No, is that what I'm supposed to say? Right?
No,
I'm
I
supposed
don't.
to say we are. Did you guys get your $1,400 checks yet? I'm just kidding.
So
he even said not to do it, right?
I did.
He told,
Which is why he did it.
I'm like a 5-year-old. You tell me not to do it, you might as well be telling me to do it.
I have to account for Ron's lack of impulse control.
You have to-
It's my
Ron,
fault. It's my
Whatever you
fault.
do, don't be quiet for the rest of the episode. All right, go, Josh. See what I did there.
trying
But-
reverse psychology on me.
But what he did describe was the modern credit card, and we have to throw back to before the magnetic strip, which I'll talk about in a second. So original credit cards didn't have a magnetic strip in them. So
Oh,
it
yeah,
was the
just
old like
numbers.
carbon
Yeah.
ching thing. They make a copy of it. What he described in his book was a small card that was on, I think they described it as a polymer. So, I mean, plastic wasn't really a thing in the late 1800s. So a polymer of some sort, but it was etched with your account number. And if you were to use it, a receipt of the transaction was given to the purchaser and the seller. Like it was, the copies were made. He described the early iteration of the modern credit.
Like the
system.
80s
Actually,
version of
the
the credit
way
card.
you just described that, that's actually some amazing foresight. Yes, like you said, maybe he had 200 things and not much of it actually came true, but the accuracy.
The accuracy.
That's the Scotch talking.
The accuracy, laddie. That he described that without understanding or foreshadowing the internet itself is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's so reading about it, the general idea was he saw it as a means, which is of course how it was applied, but he actually got a little bit closer to debit cards in his description, but it got applied to credit cards where it was, I have a bank account with my bank with a number, you have a bank account, Adam, with your account number, and then the banks work together, which wasn't really a thing back then. They work together to then have this account number based system where I could say,
Verification system, yeah.
Adam gave me 1 billion flim-flams from this account number. We both have receipts. So it was a little bit closer to the debit card concept, but either way where it landed. But I did, so I have a couple of other neat things about credit cards. Magnetic stripes were invented by a guy named Forrest Perry. I had a cool opportunity at a business conference in 2014 maybe. His son spoke. His son kind of followed in his steps. And he spoke at this conference about his dad and the whole thing. It was actually really neat. And so to, get as close as I ever will to the inventor of it, it was just cool how it was like a lot of inventions, kind of accidental. He was trying to find a way to store something else, a charge or something. But it's... Anyway, so it's
interesting to go from a magnetic strip that would originally contained just the important information about your account to be electronically read. Now, that little magnetic strip contains every piece of metadata about your person as possible. Your social security number, your home address, your work information, anything that's associated with your accounts and cards is all stored on that thing now. So it's crazy.
And I'm glad that the chips are taking over. The chips do have the capacity to store so much more data
and be prevented from being able to be read through like an RFI reader and stuff like that. Yeah.
But people are still ripping them, or is it
so
when
what's
you
happening,
can't use your chip and you have to still use your strip?
The chip that's in there, the data is encrypted. So it's encrypted at rest right now on your card. If you have a chip, it's there, but it can't be read easily. But when you use it in a device, part of that exchange is decrypting that information so it can communicate in its way. Do I have the right of that?
Yeah. Basically, the card itself is creating that connection live, proving that the card is there, unlocking more information on the card. So it really, you have a physical footprint to be able to prove that the chip was used at that location through that super high 2048-bit encrypted handshake that's happening between the card and the card reader. So if you take your card and you order something on Amazon as an example, well, there's no high level of encryption that's there or handshake that can be proven because it's all done through you putting your card number in. But when you're physically at a place of purchase and you use that chip, it's now a very, very confident transaction that is occurring versus over the internet or over the phone or however other mechanism is happening. It's very interesting.
So, that's that. So
PCI, that's been my life the last fucking 2 years.
That's why I tossed that one right over to you.
That's your
point of sale
career
transaction.
now. And I
well,
mean, in
formally.
general, yeah, that's right. Now
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I haven't announced that yet.
That's true. Whoops.
Fucking leaving that place.
In 1946, there was a banker named John Biggins. From Brooklyn. He launched the Charge It card, which was the first like bank issued charge card. Charge It purchases. What?
We're trying.
Because I said Biggins?
No. Yes. Oh, is it? Because we were laughing before? I was laughing because I'm just laughing because I drank too much scotch. That's the only reason.
I was laughing because you said Biggins and I connected eyes with Ron and we're sorry, Josh. We're immature. We're horrible. We understand that that's also a reference to a 1980s titty magazine. I got it, but sorry, man, you can't do that to us.
Is it a real titty magazine or is it
Biggins?
the fake titty magazine that was on Married with Children? That Al.
Does it matter?
Oh no.
Sorry, I apologize.
No.
We held it together so long.
Hey, remember a couple weeks?
If I hadn't said anything, it
remember a couple weeks ago,
I
I talked about this. That last time we were drinking a little bit more, like we are tonight. Again on Josh's list. Sorry, Josh. Seems to be a trend there.
thought I was making good lists. Jeez.
This is a great list.
I was looking to the right, not trying to look at Josh because I thought he'd give me the dad eyes. And I was like, if I make eye contact with Adam, he's going to see that I'm trying not to laugh. But this time I was just staring and I didn't even catch the Biggins thing. I was just trying not to laugh because I'm feeling stupid right now. And I looked over there.
Didn't hear Biggins?
And your face was like, and I was like, oh, that's it. I'm gone. I'm done.
He said Biggins and I almost fucking peed myself.
I
apologize.
No, you're good.
I apologize. I'm crying a little bit right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 1946, John Biggins.
I'm good.
You guys, all right.
Yeah, we got it out of our system.
So John Biggins, he was a banker in Brooklyn. He came out with the Charge It card, and he founded his own bank, just called the Biggins Bank, to function as a middleman for transactions. So the cards that he issued it was on a trust system, and it was only locally. So local businesses that he had partnerships with could accept a Charge It card, and it would allow, they could take the transactional receipt that he designed and the Charge It card, whatever it looked like, and tie that together and reconcile those payments and go like pay them out of his bank account and then go settle his payments with those people or their banks.
Where was this?
This was in Brooklyn in 1946. That's the first iteration of the modern trust-based credit system as we know it. So it's in 5,000 years, not really changed much, just form factor.
I'd be curious to see how the importance of credit now, not talking like ability to charge cards and credit cards and stuff like that, but the importance of credit worthiness, because it is now in our lives and has been since probably the 50s, realistically. Credit worthiness and your credit beacon score, your status to companies is almost more important than anything else in the world today. It controls your ability to purchase your buying power of anything, homes, cars. Unless you speak in just cash, it controls anything. I'd be curious to see how that ties into this whole credit card history and where that originally came from. This is an unbelievable amount of control that those three bureaus have.
Absolutely. For bureaus that just make it up with their own algorithm.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable how
I did hear that
how much power they have over almost everyone's lives.
In the 1940s, though, the Biggins Bank did start to secure some pretty good loans. Most of those went to the new invention of topless gentlemen's clubs, Biggins, double D's.
I love it. I'm trying to be mature for Josh because I think we've almost reached Josh's limit of.
Josh is going to start throwing shit.
You guys are pissing me off. I'm not looking forward to the break in between 6 and 5. I'm a little nervous about it, actually. I think Dad's mad at us. Even though you're wearing the dad shirt.
I am wearing the dad shirt. My dad.
He's got the dad pants on for sure.
Quadded.
Dad cubed. Or quadded.
Four.
Dad quad. Quad dad.
I don't know what the term would be. Squared, cubed.
Well, squared would be 2. So it's not squared. Right?
My shirt is dad with a number 4, like dad to the fourth power.
Yeah.
So whatever that is. Because I got 4 kids, you see what happens. But really, I didn't tell you any of this, but if it was to the 4th power, it would be like da 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 da. It's hard to explain. Math.
All right, so I'm going to go drink a little bit.
You got to catch up to me and Ron, buddy.
I suggest not.
We'll be good. We'll take a quick break. Get these dudes some water and all right, we'll
water
back.
break.
Biggins.
You never try if you have to, but you can't survive if they will let you. Will you hide away in a bedroom? Is that really just what you used to? So you're putting some pictures, trying to make it a home, but it's a home only a home if you're eating alone. You find yourself waiting on the ring of the phone, swearing to yourself that you're finding your own. Searching for your direction, but though you're reaching out to someone, only see your own reflection. Still putting no pictures, trying to make it a home, but it's a home really a home if you're sleeping alone. You find yourself waking on the ring of the phone and swearing to yourself that you're finding your own. Come on. Oh, it's such a lonely world, a world of inequality. Are we searching for a cure? Are we choosing to ignore? We're seeing more for pen, a man for gambling. Only I decide my fate. No, I'm sure nothing will ever change. Oh, so I'm taking down the pictures of my so-called home, where I was sure I would spend my whole life alone. Ain't nobody on the other end of the phone, but my misery is slowly turning into a song. Oh, it's such a lonely world, a world of inequality. Well, are we searching for a cure? Well, are we choosing to ignore or seeing more? Hey, misery.
Welcome back. I caught up a little bit. I got a little bit of scotch in me.
My name's Scotch, by the way.
Nice.
By the way, throw in some love back to Truphonic real quick, because you just listened to another one of their singles, sort of, so to speak. I guess it's part of one of their first albums. But we love our boys at Truphonic. You'll see Jake Salter in studio with us in the future. And I'm even told he's going to let us record a little bit of real audio in studio with him. Might make that available for our Patreons.
We've
only.
been teasing that for a while, so we better come forth on that.
We got to get him on
They
the
have
show.
a busy schedule. They're all over
Their
fucking Florida.
music is, I think you guys might know me. That
A little bit. You this guy
you
named
guys
Ron.
know me, yeah. This guy named.
You come over to
You
my
guys
house
might
once a
know
week.
that I am never into like local bands or music I've never heard or anything. Truphonics, the music. Instantly, I'm like, holy shit, these guys
They're
are
good.
Like I'm take it from a guy who doesn't normally like the local band stuff or, stuff that isn't national, whatever. I'm that guy. Yeah. So what? I'm the radio
That's okay.
songs guy.
You probably represent 90% of the people out there.
Exactly. So if I'm that guy and I love their music, check out Truphonic. Just go to YouTube, put in Truphonic. You spell it how there?
TRU and then PHONIC.
Yes. Absolutely amazing music. Love their stuff.
My favorite song is City by the Sea. By far, by a long shot, City by the Sea is my favorite song.
Yeah, that particular track, it's so radio worthy.
Oh, it is,
It's
yeah.
so good. It's
Have
got
they been picked up by do they have a manager?
It's not really a label
or
anymore.
Label or something?
It's not really label driven. When we get Jake in here, we can really dig into the details. Maybe in an after show style conversation, but maybe a little bit in our regular show too. So now in 2020 and after, well, even more so like 2010 and after, it's not really driven by labels. You can be an independent artist producing your own MP3s and releasing your own episode or your own tracks and still be just as successful as a Sony-backed label. Now, you won't maybe not have some of the tie-ins that those big labels have.
YouTube
but it's
helps
Oh, yeah.
that, correct?
Yeah, big time.
Plus, they have one or two pretty cool videos.
Yeah, in fact, our friend Tach.
Yeah, friend Tach actually
produced one of them.
shot and edited those.
There you go. Let me hand the whiskey over.
Did either of you guys go for that day?
I'm I'm getting up and getting the scotch.
I'll jump back in. So we are doing 10 inventions inspired by science fiction.
Top 10 of this. This is a fucking cool list because it really touches our nerd side of us quite a bit.
So going down the line, number 10 was automatic doors. Number 9 was cell phones. Number 8 was the taser. Number 7 is the submarine. Number 6 is the modern concept of a credit card.
Biggins. Sorry.
Biggins.
I had to touch on it. Me and Ron.
Had to touch on the biggins.
We sat. I was trying to go more mature. Ron and I had a conversation. We're going to approach the second half of this show with our adult faces on, Josh. So we'll do our best not to laugh at immature teenage.
When did we have
jokes.
this conversation?
Oh, did we not show that with smoke and mirrors?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm totally not going to interrupt your show.
We know better than that.
Which pretty much means I'm getting in my car and driving away.
Well, that's it for Ron. He's no longer on the Twisted 10 podcast.
At least for this episode.
I've got this. So this next one will tie right into your fun, nerdy dick joke giggles. You guys ready?
Here we go. All right. Oh, focus.
And the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Al Gore invented it.
I know.
Number 4.
So, so
The twist of the
this
show.
ties
I guess
back.
we didn't ask you. Is there a twist?
There's
to
not
this
a twist to this list. It's just a weird list.
We haven't done a twist in a
We
while.
haven't done a twist in a
Next
while.
person has to do a
the
twist.
list. The lists are in general a twist. They are twisted
Yeah.
lists because I made them up. The twist is a fun, specific spin. Made up entry or a detail that we've been misled the whole show, throwing back to one of your old ones, Ron.
Oh yeah.
So the twist.
We can try to guess the sources on the last 5 if you want us to. Make that the twist.
Okay.
Unless they're super obscure books like most of these have been.
In
In 1859, Charles
Darwin.
Dick Gazinia made up this book.
We ought to maybe eat a boy.
There you go. Unless it's super obscure, maybe most of the rest of these are going to be. I don't know. I'll let you run your show. Sorry.
No, you're good. So the internet. So this one, I didn't have it on here, but it ties in. Was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein? That's not this one. The internet is not in Frankenstein. So
Interesting.
But what came out of her book was a few things, and it was actually the concept of resuscitating tissue through electricity. So when she wrote that book,
Reincarnating tissue?
reincarnating is the wrong word, but reactivating, revive,
Oh, okay.
using I'm sorry. In every business building, they have them outside the elevators. That fucking they shock you if your heart stops.
Oh,
Defibrillate.
Thank you,
defibrillator.
Jesus.
Neither one of us could say it.
We
Defibrillate.
said it like drunk people. Defibrillator.
My goodness, yes. So,
So reafibrillate?
so the idea of using electricity to restart a heart, or in Frankenstein's case, I guess it was restarting a heart, but much more dramatically. But that defibrillator concept was kind of credited back because using electricity in that way wasn't a thing when she wrote Frankenstein. But from her book, a later author, Arthur C. Clarke, he wrote a short story, which was Dial F for Frankenstein. It was published in a 1964 copy of Playboy. So what the story was, it was a bunch of telephones that were networked together, old they had ring nets. There was a term for it in your neighborhood. You could just talk. Anybody could pick up the phone and talk to each other in the neighborhood. Anyways,
I remember that.
I don't remember what it's called though. Anyways, so a bunch of telephones, they were tied together, and they became sentient, and then eventually destroy the world. I guess I didn't get my hands on.
It's like the early version of Terminator. Was it Cybertron? No. Cybernet?
Skynet
Skynet
from Terminator. Yeah.
Yes. Cyberdyne. Damn it. That's what I was trying to say. Cyberdyne.
Skynet was what you were looking for. Cyberdyne is
Skynet
another
was
one.
the program. Cyberdyne was the company.
Ah, okay.
I didn't know that. It was good marketing since they actually launched Skynet around that time. But so a kid named Tim Berners-Lee, he got a copy of that magazine, and he actually read the articles. But so
Great articles.
He was inspired by that. He eventually he went to MIT, and he was one of the teams that helped prototype the early version of what became the internet. So Tim Berners-Lee read as a child the articles in a Playboy. He legitimately read them, which later then became the foundational concept for tying machines together to do commanding.
Do you think he only rered the articles?
No. Just eventually you get so bored with the same.
Yeah, eventually you
same
get
pictures. You're just like,
I'm
going to
off
read it,
4 times.
Pretty soon you only read the pages that don't stick together. So
Yeah, and it happened to be that article.
yeah.
Nice.
So, yes, of course, there is a billion people who deserve credit for what the internet is today,
Including Al Gore.
including Al Gore.
Politics. Stay out of it, Ron.
No, it's just because he said he
I know.
invented
He's
the
a meme.
internet.
I know.
He's
I
such
know.
a meme.
No, he should be a meme. He said he invented the
he
fucking
is.
internet.
He's definitely a meme.
I mean, he's done some amazing things post vice presidency and everything for the environment. So I don't want to diss him as a human being. He's been fantastic. He's one of the, not say the original people, but kind of, he's done more probably to make us realize about, the environment and that we need to be paying attention and that, the shit could go down, et cetera, than almost anybody initially. But he's an idiot because he said he invented the internet. So
yeah, this is not the most direct line between as written to as engineered, but
I see your tangent there, and it works.
Yeah, it worked. So I guess I can't talk about John Biggins the banker without a giggle fit, but I talk about Playboy. And
but it's more direct.
Biggins. Oh yes, you're right.
The comedy behind the Biggins comment was, well, number one, that we were drunk, but number two, that it was an indirect comedy.
come on, did we have to be
childish-
drunk to laugh at somebody named Biggins?
No, that's true. If you're listening to our show and your last name is Biggins, you just got to know it. You got to live with a sense of humor.
I would love if my last Ronald Biggins. I can go for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So secret that Josh probably doesn't know. My last name Adam knows.
Yeah.
is not actually my original last name.
Okay,
I'm only saying this because I'm drunk. I'm not embarrassed by it because I did it.
this is a weird secret. You're about to announce it
Yes.
to our entire listener base.
Josh, I think Ron's had too much scotch.
Yes, a bit. I am a bit laddie.
Holding his water.
I am been married 21 years. When I got married, I took my wife's last name instead of the other way around.
Which kind of fucked him later in some of his other
It did. It's
interviews,
the
yeah.
reason I'm not a police officer because they thought that was so shady.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit more in the after show, but they thought that was shady. But I took my wife's last
If Ron
name.
makes it to the after show.
Hey guys, welcome to the
You know what's interesting about that, though? I mean, I didn't know that. That's
No, most
super
people
cool.
who have anybody who's met me post 21 years ago doesn't know that.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's fascinating to me as well as a comparison because when you did that 21 years ago, that was a big enough deal to keep you from becoming a police officer, right? But nowadays, if you is saying the same thing now, it's like, oh, cool. Oh, there's more. All right, cool. There's no. It's
That also stopped him too. He was going to work for us when we used to work together. Yeah, Ron had not to get too deep into it, but there became an investigation question about that when he was
Applying for an IT job, trying to get
Weird.
out of what was my current career, which was
for
retail.
the clearance.
that did it,
Yeah.
and not the drug trafficking charges.
No, they didn't care about that, because I was dealing to most of those guys.
What a coincidence.
Yeah,
Anyways, before I get suicided.
FYI, I was never arrested for drug trafficking charges.
Yeah, I didn't know his last name was from his wife, but I do know about his secret drug trafficking ring. All right.
Yeah.
So number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4 is atomic power. Now, you wanted to take some guesses.
Ooh.
This one.
Atomic power.
So we're guessing what book, movie, or show this was from.
The origin of the concept, the modern concept. Well, there's no historic concept for atomic power. So, in this case, yes, just the origin of atomic
The ability
power.
to even theorize about either
War of the Worlds.
no the ability to either split being fission or fuse being fusion didn't even come until like 1920s, maybe 1910. So this would have to have been turn of the century again for the inspiration for power through fusion or fission.
Oh, okay. So I just thought maybe the atomic bomb in general, because I thought they attempted an atomic attack against the Martians.
But he's not
in
talking
War of
about
the
an
Worlds.
attack. He's not talking
That's
about.
true. Okay, I agree.
He's not talking about
you're right.
explosion. He's talking about powering something using
Correct, yeah.
atomic.
This is power.
either fission or fusion, either one, because you can harness the energy out of both.
The Simpsons. I don't know. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to get this one either. I mean, I would guess probably similar artists that you've already touched on. Artists being the writers that you've touched on.
Did you touch on them for real?
I did.
J.J. Abrams, I think.
That's
I think
my.
JJ.
I don't know.
George
Uh,
Lucas.
so-
I tried spinning it a little bit.
I
but
have no clue.
So this one comes from the 1914 H.G. Wells
1914 H.G. Wells.
publication.
H.G.
Publication.
Wells. Okay.
It's called The World Set Free. So in the book, he talks about artificial atomic energy.
Dude, H.G. Wells was like a psychic.
He had a different type of
God
brain,
damn,
that's for sure.
he was way ahead of his time. This list makes me realize more than ever how ahead of his time.
In late 1800s.
I should probably stop talking on this show. As time this guy was.
So
We'll drink some more scotch instead. Talking.
So he, in the book, he predicted that by 1933 we would have artificial atomic energy. So the concept of atomic potential wasn't new. So that was the thing. That piece is what existed back then, because I was kind of looking at that and like how long have we known that there's an immense amount of energy stored in an atom, and that predates. I don't remember that date, but it predates the publication 1914. So what was really wild about it is in 1914, in the book, he wrote about how by 1933 there would be a devastating world war that would destroy not everything, but destroy the majority of global government, and it was restructured under a global political system.
Oh, he thought the apocalypse would come, the nuclear winter.
He wasn't super far off. I mean,
But-
he did have a nuclear attack around that, 44?
Yeah, but that scared the whole world. That was the difference, I think. That it wasn't a
damn.
ICBM style attack, but it was a bombs that were dropped that scared the world. Thanks, America.
But so it was
Rightfully so.
the
though.
thing though is the global government was peaceful as a recourse to, of course, rebuilding after a devastating global war. So the New World Order, whatever he called it in the book, they were peaceful. In 1932, we're getting closer to your dates that you guessed, Adam. So in 1932, physicist Leo Szilard, Szilard, it was a weird one, Szilard. But in 1932, he read the book, and it inspired him to solve the one problem with nuclear fission, which was the nuclear chain reaction. The chain reaction was the piece that was missing. So having it happen and carry through to become a sustainable, nuclear reactor, modern are basically large steam engines, but the atomic energy is based on a continuing chemical reaction versus just one that's then harnessed battery style. So
I think you briefly touched on that. I think that's probably the most interesting thing about nuclear power plants that we know as of today. All that they're doing is creating steam.
Yeah.
That's all that they're doing. They're heating up boiling water, creating steam, which is turning turbines, which is generating power. I never would have imagined in a million years that the way we harnessed nuclear power in 2020 was just to capture steam as it moved.
Well,
that's amazing to me.
yeah,
I mean, I know it's efficient and I know it's least pollution in the environment as possible, but
certainly.
that really amazes me that is what we came to. We cannot figure out another way, or maybe reasonably efficiently figure out another way to harness that fission or fusion, whichever one you want to go with, to capture that other raw energy. It's still just a big fucking locomotive.
Yeah.
That's what's doing it. That's amazing to me.
Yeah, they're good until they're not. That's they're super scary when they're not. That's the problem. That's their big.
Well, once you start that chain reaction,
yeah.
it is a damn near impossible to stop.
Yep.
So that constant flow of water that's creating that steam, that's what's doing it. And that part right there, to me, is what is the most scary part about nuclear reactors for generation of power, at least.
Yeah, again, they're really, really great in every way. Low fuel source or low fuel consumption, great environmental impacts. Yeah, they're just...
All you're doing is adding more vapor to the air. You're just like a fucking vapor, man. You're just vaping, toking your vape,
and then Fukushima happens, and you dump nuclear waste into the ocean it's still dumping nuclear waste into the ocean. So
that was half their fault. I mean, but
it goes wrong. It goes wrong.
Yeah,
Chernobyl.
That was a whole nother fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah. The one in North America, up in New York, whenever that happened, all the white deers. I don't remember the name of it. Do you know that one?
White deers?
Yeah, there's a place in upstate New York where there is... I wish I could remember where it's at. My ex, her family told me about it. They live up in Rochester, or lived, I guess, up in Rochester. But yeah, somewhere in New York, there's a power plant, a nuclear power plant that had... Maybe it was a runoff problem versus a meltdown problem, but there's a kill-on-site bounty for white animals, white deer.
Seneca Army Depot? Does that sound familiar?
doesn't, but
Okay.
is that in New York?
I don't know. I
Okay.
just
Nevada.
Googled White.
So it's Ron.
Googled
He's
White,
Googling right now.
White Deer's nuclear power plant and got Seneca Army Depot.
Okay, it could very well be, but yeah, it's just North American. So there's
So the animals have been like albinoed from the reaction?
they're radioactive. Yeah, radioactive
No
animals. Yeah, you
shit.
can't eat them. Kill on sight.
More
dispose.
importantly, they're living though. They're a thriving society. Why would the hell would we not study those? That's amazing. Like Chernobyl has, and I know this might be its own twisted 10.
Could be.
But Chernobyl has so many species of wildlife, both insects as well as mammals, as well as avian, the whole 9 yards, that have evolved after being completely irradiated for the last 50 years. They have changed. Their biology has literally changed because of their nuclear exposure. Their exposure to these incredibly harsh
So
elements.
The Seneca white deer are a rare herd of deer living within the confines of the former Seneca Army Depot in Seneca County, New York. That's just the
Cool. So maybe it
first little hit.
Maybe I
there.
had it mixed up. Maybe it was not nuclear. Maybe it was just some other thing.
No, maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Who
That's
knows?
interesting.
So, but yeah, so atomic power. That same physicist, Leo Szilard, he went on. Do I have years for it? No, but it's post World War II. But he started a campaign for arms control, and he campaigned for now the nuclear power is becoming more prevalent, responsible, non-aggressive use of nuclear power. Because of us, really. But
Interesting.
he stood up on his platform like, hey, I invented it and it could destroy the planet, destroy humanity. Don't.
So there are many inventions that have come along in our lifetimes that have been acquired through purposes of government seizures or through copyright purchases to the patents. There is supposedly a copyright on the market, an actual trademark for a patent for a fission generator that is a portable personal fission generator. Maybe it's a fusion. I apologize. It's a cold fusion generator. So it's fusing elements, separating them as opposed to combining them. That is reasonably inexpensive, meaning like less than 20 grand at the time. This is like back in the early 2000s. That could power an entire city block for the cost of a full tank of gas for a year.
Yeah.
It's a generator that could produce so much energy, but it was gobbled up, meaning the big companies came in and offered the person who created the patent for this thing, offered him hundreds of millions of dollars
To
for the
just
patent.
quash it, just to make sure
That they would own
It
it, so
doesn't happen,
they wouldn't do it. We technically, this is a conspiracy theory, so forgive me for this a little bit. However, some of these conspiracy theories are real. That type of energy capability is out there, at least in conspiracy land, and we could power our homes for the cost of a loaf of bread for a week, but we can't because of the conglomerates that manage and run
big oil.
the power.
Big oil.
For sure.
Big oil.
So it's really interesting to see the technology is there. The human capabilities of invention is there.
Yeah.
But
It'll break out of it. In
politics
our
get
lifetime,
involved.
all of these types of
So
there's
there's
better energy sources will eventually.
Will they though? I mean, if you
I
could
think
create
so.
a fusion generator, especially a cold fusion, meaning low maintenance, low potential of blowing up your fucking state, if you could create that, but then you could profit, you and your family could live for the rest of your life with your hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank if you engineered it.
I'm going to make this as
It's an interesting
non-political as possible.
dichotomy.
If certain people have their way,
this looks
it will
painful.
happen because of laws that they're trying to enact. If other people have their way, we'll never see it in our lifetime. So it'll be this yin and yang depending on who takes over the country and in different countries, right? Not just our country, but other
Right.
countries, depending on who's leading.
because some of these are international conglomerates, not
Exactly.
just
It's not
US
just
or
it's not
Canada
just
or-
the U.S. obviously, but as different, sides, if you will, and based off their view and whether they believe in the more classic forms of energy versus the new energy. You know what I mean?
My favorite part about this, Josh, is that Ron is going to be editing this when he's sober. He's like, "What the fuck am I talking about?
What's going on?" Yeah, the people
I'm
in
trying
power,
not to be political.
malicious people
we
in
got you,
power
we
may
got
not if they don't want to give it up.
But that's all politics. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. All politicians
our
are
current
that way.
president in the United States, and at the time of this recording, it was Joe Biden.
Sure.
Said that no more subsidies to the oil companies by 2045 or something like that, right? So that's the type of thing where we're trying to eliminate you guys and just go with clean energy. And then one side is like, nah, we're just going to burn it all up until it's gone. And the other side's like, no, let's go where electric cars need to all be electric by this year. And then
I saw a funny meme about electric cars you would probably like. It's a Tesla hooked up to an electric charging port at their home.
Yes.
So then it shows the power cables going to a coal for burning.
It's and you know what? That's exactly
Power
right. 100%. That's exactly
Granted,
right.
the percentages are
because
like,
I've been
I
looking
got it.
into maybe my next car purchase will be a Tesla. I've been seriously considering that.
Is it going to run on atomic power?
You know, no. But so what you're trying to say is let's get off this topic because this has nothing to do with atomic power and go to number 3 or 2 or whatever.
You went from I'm not going to be political, but let's talk about American politics. But we're going to talk about cars now.
The new Tesla pulls 1.21 gigawatts of power.
Wow.
1.21 gigawatts. All right, I'm just going to shut up.
No, it's fine.
Hey, how about great scotch and pour me another?
You want to know? You can
Yeah,
buddy.
tiny bit.
Here, just take the bottle.
Tiny bit. Here, take all of it.
belly is getting in the way.
Tiny bit. Take the whole bottle.
Drunk Ron's fun.
Yeah.
Am I
so
drunk? Do you guys think I'm
saw
drunk?
so atomic power.
Oh, because I fucking am.
I'll bring it back. We have, you talk about seeing in our lifetime. Lockheed Martin, I believe it was. I could be wrong. One of the big 5 government contractors, but they released a nuclear reactor. I'm sorry, they have the patent on it, and they have started marketing for a nuclear reactor that's the size of a single shipping container that they can put.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that they're going to put on ships,
Like submarines?
submarines, ships, airplanes, electric-powered airplanes that never land, electric-powered ships that never dock,
Sounds like AWACS.
unless they need to.
Where we are with docking again.
Dry dock. Yeah.
That's when you don't
same
use
thing,
lube.
submarines. But they're just talking about these things that can just run.
I thought it was funny. When you don't
Like
use lube, dry docking, no? Nothing?
When you have to explain it, you're losing.
I thought that it was not.
All right. Number
Yeah.
3. Number 3.
Number
Good
3.
idea.
I wanted to hear more about Lockheed.
I thought I wanted to hear more about
that's
dry docking.
That's really where it ends. It's just they have a shipping container sized nuclear reactor of some sort. I don't know which type it is, but it can just be used as an engine to power electric engines. So, or as a
really
power
cool.
source for electric engines. So but yeah, they're talking like vehicles that can just drive until they break. Just it's like, I mean, I guess that's every car in its own way, but just the fuel is no longer the issue. We're talking about fuel cell the size of like a 6-sided dice. It runs for 100 years. That's crazy.
The best part is right now big oil runs it all and they're going to burn it all out. But it's not like once it's all gone, we're screwed. What are we going to do? We already have the technology, the know-how,
It's true.
the ability to figure it out once it's all gone. For our homes, for our cars, for whatever. We're good. We'll be good. No worries.
To cap that partially political conversation, I would like to say that personally, I would like to see the consumption of natural resources like big oil uses ended sooner rather than later. I'm not an advocate of an EPA kind of guy. I'm not out there picketing or any of that shit. However, fracking has serious problems in our country.
What the frack?
The drilling does affect our economy. It does affect our environment, I meant to say. So I would like to see us move to something like maybe what Josh is talking about a little bit with this Lockheed thing. I would like to see some of that happen sooner rather than later. So I don't want to get to the point where we've used it all up, because if we've used it all up, we're going to have a lot more problems on our hand, environmentally speaking, than not. So I would prefer to get to that point sooner rather than later. If Lockheed's got something cool, man, that I want more information on that.
Yeah. So number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3 is 3D holograms. Now going into this one, I have to make a distinction. So 3D holograms, they exist. There's two different types of 3D. There's 3D like on our driver's licenses, at least here in Florida, where you've got the picture in there. It's got that
I see
fake
what you're
3D
saying,
depth.
yeah.
So that's a type of hologram, and it works with its own principles. 3D holograms, like
A projection
R2D2 getting the projected message of Obi-Wan like out there.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Or I'm
You're
sorry,
my
yeah,
only hope.
getting the message to Obi-Wan. I apologize before I get
Understood.
raised by the internet. So the so that type of standalone projection,
Which we're not there yet, though, are we?
we are 2018 standing projection, not like R2D2 level standalone
Sure,
projection,
sure.
but they were able to do a full color holographic projection. That's
What, are you going to talk about Tupac? What happened with Tupac?
No. Well, I mean, I don't know what technology they use for Tupac, but I know what the concert you're talking about, where
Yeah.
he performed air quotes as a projection. But no, what this was, I have the details actually. So in 2018, it was Brigham Young University in Utah.
Bring up.
Every child
seriously.
porn's dream.
Brigham
Young.
Brigham.
It's Brigham Young. Yeah.
Brigham Young,
Yeah, Brigham. But when he said Brigham Young, I had to throw it out there. Sorry.
So
Scotch is for you.
So they let's see, 2018. So it uses something called volumetric display. So it uses particles at high speed, then using an array of lasers, they trap the particles in the shape that they're after.
Really?
And then using additional lasers to do red, green, and blue, to do RGB
What
color
kind of particles?
spectrum.
Like specks of dust or something, or magnetic
honestly,
something?
I didn't
or-
look, to be honest. I didn't. So I don't know.
Holy shit! So you've just filled in, just with that little 30 seconds of conversation, you filled in a gap in my mind on how we're going to achieve holographic projections. How we were able to. So my entire life, I've always wanted these projections like we've seen on Star Trek, Star Wars, even whatever, any of the shows. But we've always had a medium that you had to have. Like you can do a projection on like a mist of water that's spraying. You can project cool shit on there,
Yeah.
but it's only visible really from one angle. So you can't get true 3D holographic type of projections. So now you're saying that Brigham Young University has this capability to harness whatever the particle is
Yeah, I didn't.
to control the particle and then project the RGB on top of those particles.
Yes.
That's fucking cool,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's so standalone, animated, full color holographic projection. The technology exists now. Obviously, 2018. It's only a
shit.
few years old. We've got a long time until we see it as something as consumers, but it's
it's coming.
there.
That would be
That's
technically
awesome.
something you could touch. If it's physical particles that they're controlling in
Yeah.
the air, like their
I
locations.
guess it depends on the lasers that they're using to suspend those particles, but I again, I don't know what type of
Dude, that's
laser they're
fucking
using. Yeah.
cool. That is the coolest one so far on the list to me.
These next two are pretty cool. So you brought up something using water mist
Yeah.
to project a hologram. So here in Florida, I don't know if it's still happening with
SeaWorld.
everything going on, but they have Halloween was a music festival up north.
Oh,
I don't know if
sweet.
SeaWorld has something similar. They may, but what they
just
have
do a show on that's projected on water and stuff. It's
cool.
It's cool, but don't get me wrong. But it's not. It's projected only for the people that are at a certain 25-degree angle of seeing it. It's not.
Oh, okay.
It's not true holographic projection.
So what Halloween has, and Electric Force as well, its counterpart in Michigan, but what Halloween has in the festival grounds, there's imagine a big circle, and then in the center of the circle, there's a little island surrounded by water around it. All right, and because that's the festival grounds, and part of most of it's camping, and then there's festival grounds, and there's this island in the center that is for art. So they do art exhibits. I went there to I did a 3DJ silent disco, which was interesting. I got to watch a guy live mix a theremin, which is cool. It was awful. It wasn't great music, but I got to
theremin?
see a theremin in person. It was 10 feet away from me, and he looked like the kind of guy who'd be live mixing a theremin at a silent disco at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
That was the scotch.
But it was so. Anyways, outside of this island, they had on the water a circle by itself, not around the island. They had a circle of water jets that just created a cylinder of water being sprayed into the air, and then in the center they had projectors. And so they had a whole thing, like it was ghosts for this one. It's around Halloween, so they had these ghosts that were like flying around this mist of water, and they had some music playing out on the water and stuff. It was really cool, but they had this 360-degree projection, but it took 360 degrees of that mist in the center mounted projector. It was really cool. A lot of it was keyed up to a bunch of music that was playing around.
While that's cool because they did incorporate a 360-degree angle to it.
Yeah.
It was still perspective based, directionally based. What you're talking about from Brigham Young answers the question I have always wondered. How would they control the 3D effect? So I had always imagined that they would have some kind of powerful laser that would shoot across each other, would have like a crossing pattern.
Never cross the streams.
Never cross the streams. But when lasers would cross, you would get a certain element of brightness in where that laser is. I've always imagined that how we would do a true holographic image is that we would have these myriad of thousands of crossed lasers that would produce that image, that bright image for us. But now, if there's a capability of controlling some kind of particle, be it magnetic, be it with lasers, that's giving me the fucking sci-fi dad boner of the night so far. That right there is cool stuff.
That's it's.
Oh, where's its origin now?
So the Brigham Young University accredited their creation to the R2D2 imagery.
Oh, cool.
So they maybe that's not the first iteration of standalone holograms. I'd be like older than that. We're going back like Total Recall. I think had holograms.
No,
and
it was Star Wars was before that. That was 70s.
So that was like 77 or something.
Was there projection before that, like a holographic image before Star Wars?
That's a good question for me.
Oh, Buck Rogers. Wait a minute. Didn't Buck Rogers have that back in the 60s?
That was in the 80s. I thought Buck Rogers was the 80s. Beady.
Very good, yeah.
Here's the thing. If you were asking sober Ron, I might be come up with a good answer. But I am so fucking hammered right now.
Yeah, Ron's over there just like scrubbing his hand. And it's just like,
I was destroyed.
As a reminder, we're drinking the Balvenie Caribbean cask scotch, aged 14 years.
This is the best alcohol.
Not a sponsor.
Ron, you know what? This is akin to maybe another after show time where Ron decided to drink the entire, what's that blue drink?
Hypnotic
bottle.
What's the blue one?
In the back of of
add
Adam's car.
Add that to our after show notes for tonight because that's a great story of Ron.
This after show is going to be longer
Just put in there hypnotic, and I'll know enough to tell the after show story to our after show patrons of exactly what story you're talking about.
I'm a big 50s.
Yeah, they'll appreciate this story.
I'm a big 50s, 60s sci-fi guy, and I'm trying to think about a bunch of the old movies I used to watch that maybe had some type of 3D hologram, projection. And I can't really. I was thinking like This Island Earth, but no, I feel like that was still 2D. Forbidden Planet, don't recall that. So I think maybe.
Oh, here you go. Here it is. 1951. So probably, this is according to Wikipedia, probably the first reference is by Isaac Asimov in his sci-fi novel series The Foundation Trilogy in 1951. Holography has been widely referred to in movies, novels, and TV, usually in science fiction. So it was in The Foundation Trilogy. So 1951 was the first ever reference, according to Wikipedia, of any kind of projection holography. So there we go.
Cool. I learned a word too.
That's gonna get him.
Holography. Did it say that in that description?
Wikipedia.
Holography.
Oh, it's right there. Look at
That's an awesome word.
I'll zoom in on it for you across the room.
I can read it.
Holography.
HOLOGRAPHY for anyone
exactly
wanting to Google the word.
Yeah. Phonetic. It's phonetic, Ron. They get it.
Graphy.
Oh man,
I like drunk Ron.
Oh man, I love drinking with Ron.
Drunk Ron has now gone into fucked up Ron.
You're sleeping here tonight, buddy.
Oh God, I might. You know what? I might actually be.
Yeah.
My wife's gonna really
fine.
not be happy.
I am gonna
There's plenty
fart
of
all
beds.
over this couch. Oh, you have beds now?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of beds.
All right.
I might just sleep right on. Like if you stay there, I'll just lay my head on your lap, right there, Josh.
Oh yeah,
Man.
he's staying here for sure. He's gone into that mode. I know this Ron. I know this Ron well.
Where are your keys at? Put them by the door.
Yeah.
All right. So number 2.
Number 2. They're there.
All right, cool. Ron's keys are in the center of the studio on the floor.
First one to it.
Oh my goodness.
Wait a minute. Everybody put their keys in.
No.
This
and
is
then
not
we
a
grab
fishbowl.
everyone else's
This
keys.
is not a fishbowl scenario.
Not that kind of part. It's 3 dudes in the basement. No, thank you.
A Sasha.
Oh my.
He can't even finish.
Okay. Number 2.
Number 2.
Hoverboards
Yes, there we
Yes.
go. Back to the Future. Very nice.
with a caveat. Hoverboards still require a magnetically repelling surface.
Yeah, you need to have a
It's
special
still,
surface for them. Yeah.
And when we start talking about things like hoverboards with like fan-based systems, it's technically a hoverboard, but you know they exist. You can't have a standalone fan-based hoverboard, and it will cover. You know, you can still float on it without a metal surface. But
Yeah, your ability to move with a hoverboard is important.
Yeah.
You can't just kick your foot in midair. Yeah. Because Newton's law of momentum would tell you that you're not going to go
Hoverboards
anywhere.
don't work on water unless you have power.
Oh, very good. You know, the
Man.
irony behind
Batter
that,
up.
the irony behind that is Andrea just introduced Alyssa.
Andrea is your wife.
Yes. Just introduced Alyssa to Back to the Future 1 and 2. She hasn't watched 3 yet, but we just watched 1
I
and 2.
did that with my daughter like 7-8 months ago.
Nice.
She fucking loved.
Oh, did
those
she really
movies.
good?
Oh yes.
Well, they're
absolutely.
good movies. They still hold up.
Everything we've like I'm really particular about. Wait, this movie's for you. Let's watch it. This movie's for you. Let's watch it. Every single time I've nailed it. I've never had a time where she's like, "This is fucking stupid." I mean, she wouldn't say that, but she might. She would say it to her friends.
Yeah.
Afterwards, like my dad.
I mean, she probably did anyways.
My dad. No, she loved. those-
watch Back to the Future.
No, she asked me later on, like, can we watch those movies again sometime?
Just got a text from Ron that says, I'm fucking hammered.
That was like 25 minutes ago.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about real hoverboards.
Yes, do
Let's
it.
talk about real ones. So the reason this one made it on the list is that there are some flaws. You kind of touched on this. Making something that floats, easy. Making something that floats with control, not easy. We talk about quad fan system, quadricopters, basically, that you can stand on. If it's board,
Quadricopters?
yes.
What is that exactly?
It's a imagine a drone that has 4 rotors on it.
Okay.
Quadricopter, because it has 4.
A drone.
A drone, yeah. So so something like that you can stand on if it's board shaped, technically a hoverboard, but
You need that thrust. You need something to
Yeah.
propel you.
you got to be able to move, control it, whether it's kicking on the ground. We're talking like skateboard sort of shape, whatever. So there's a company that's called ARXPAX, ARXPAX. In 2015, they released something called their magnetic field architecture. This was a game changer for magnetic levitation in general, but they applied it. You can go look at the I have the name. Where's it at? The Hino hoverboard. The Hino hoverboard is what they call it. HINO hoverboard. So they have, what it is a magnetic array. It's a disc that spins, and they have a reverse alignment of all of the magnets that are on it. They're neodymium magnets and in the general electromagnets in their larger model. But what this specific array of magnets that are spinning at a certain speed, it's a flat disk of magnets that spin, because they function in reverse polarity and different side polarities, it creates on a magnetically repelling surface, in this case copper, and I'll talk about that. So using their copper foundation, it's stable, it doesn't wobble, it can carry loads well beyond just the normal magnetic repelling force if you just had a positive surface with all negative magnets. I'm sorry, all positive and all positive. But it's controllable, it's stable, it can carry more weight because of it creates what's called an eddy current underneath it, and it's a current in magnetic forces. I wish I could explain it better.
It heats up the copper though. That's your only side effect there is heat.
They didn't talk about heat at all.
Well, it may if they have a large enough surface, like let's say they do an entire basketball floor size area with this copper base floor. If you had something the size of a hoverboard that's using this technology that's gliding across the copper, that would make complete sense because it would disperse the heat across that entire surface so that you wouldn't really get heat. If you were to take, I don't know if you've ever seen these science experiments. Have you ever seen they've used those neodymium, what's the magnet called? Neodymium magnets, and they've dropped one of those through a hollow copper rod. So you start above it, you drop the magnet, and then you expect at the speed of typical gravity, which is what
1.8 meters per
1.8 meters per second per squared whatever.
That's what
you would expect the time to fall through to be expectations that we would normally see. Where you drop a ball that's going to hit the ground at a certain speed, going through that copper rod, that hollow copper rod, it slows that speed of that magnet down to like 1/10 of the speed that gravity would normally pull it down to the ground. So you drop it and you wait, and all that's happening is an electromagnetic reaction that is slowing that neodymium magnet down, and then it finally falls out the bottom of the hollow copper rod. In that example, the only side effect is that the copper rod, after multiple passes of this magnet, begins to heat up. In this situation, I think they're using the same technology, just based on what you just described.
And they invented it 5 years ago. So.
Well, but I'm sure
if that lines up.
No, that makes. Well, this process has been known about for 30, 40 years.
Right.
But the applications across a flat surface was something like a hoverboard style mechanism, like a quadricopter style mechanism. There would still be that same heat generated, but because the surface is so large, it would disperse that heat so fast they may not have that problem. But that would make sense. It's riding on a cushion of electromagnetism as opposed to in the hoverboard scenario, which is just fucking magic.
Yeah.
But it's literally riding on an electromagnetic cushion going across that copper surface. That's fucking cool.
So the real benefit to you need that surface on the ground, that magnetically repellent surface, but the way all the poles of its magnets are shaped or are aligned, and with the spin, it controls the magnetic field of the copper in this case. In their hover park, they have a skate park, by the way. They brought Tony Hawk in and they did some skating on the hoverboard 2.0 in 2018 or 19, whatever it was. But yeah, so it controls that underlying electromagnetic cushion, but it's pure magnetism. So it controls the magnetic repelling force of the underlying surface as well. So it does still require that. You guys might have seen Lexus had one a while back, but that was traditional magnetism, but they had the Lexus hoverboard park when it had magnetic rails in there. So you can only ride specific lines, but it was cool. It was
the
really
light
neat.
rails work on the same technology too, Josh.
Yeah.
They work on a copper-based hyper electric magnetism against similar magnets against copper rods. It works the same way.
To bottom line it, right now you can't really have a hoverboard without having the right surface beneath
Correct,
it. We
yes.
haven't figured out a way
You
where
can't just go to the park.
hoverboard on concrete or some shit.
No.
Where they
yet.
don't work on water unless you have power. No.
Exactly.
But you can't just hoverboard anywhere you want right now. It has to be on a particular surface, already created.
Which almost debunks Back to the Future 2 completely out of the
Not
park.
necessarily, just
Almost.
means that, it debunks it that it didn't happen in 2015.
15?
But doesn't mean that one day they won't figure it out in 2021, 15 or something that you
One
can
of the
hoverboard on
strangest elements, one of the strangest forces in nature, the strangest, hardest to comprehend, hardest to harness is gravity. So the Earth's
We still don't
magnetic
know.
pole. You're right. We don't know what truly is. We have no definition for what is gravity. We just know what the force is.
What's that big hadron collider? No. What's that?
You're talking about the Hadron Collider.
Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
They were hoping that they would find like
Hadron Collider.
Hadron. Yeah. They were hoping they would find some kind of gravity molecule or gravity atom or something. They were hoping that maybe with that they would discover what the hell makes gravity happen. They still don't know.
No. They understand the formulas behind it. It's very calculable, but they still have no real definition of what gravity is. It's a force, but they can't describe it as similar to all the other ones.
And it's a weak force.
It's very weak. Well, sort of.
I mean, it's
weak, but immensely powerful over distance.
Right.
So
just as far as forces of the universe, it's one of the weak forces. Not
You're also thinking of the God particle. You're thinking of the
Higgs boson.
Yeah,
Well, no,
good.
they
Higgs
discovered.
boson.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not, because they discovered that.
say they did.
That dude Higgs, whatever his name is. Well, his name is Higgs, dumbass.
and boson.
He
That's the God particle.
He
Yeah.
conceptualized this particle, and then the Hadron
Hadron
Hail
Collider,
Hydra Collider
Hail Hydra.
actually proved his theory correct.
Yep, they were able to
But
discover Higgs boson particle.
One of the things they didn't discover was they were hoping to discover and figure out the whole gravity situation.
The one
which
that
they
may
did
have
not.
more of a tie to understanding gravity and defining it better than what our entire history has done is the LIGO Observatory. That one might actually be able to prove gravity and define it for us better than what we've ever been able to understand it, because it's able to monitor gravitational waves from black holes colliding with each other or combining with each other, however you want to look at it.
LIGO. How do you spell that?
LIGO Observatory. That was about 2018 as well, when they discovered the first
recently, a few years ago.
It wasn't too long ago. The very first black hole waves that were detected were with the LIGO Observatory. And
But-
it actually proved a theory of Einstein's that has finally come true 50 years after he
Which
predicted
theory
it.
is that?
I'm gonna pull it
How
back in.
gravitational waves.
I'm gonna pull it back in.
Do it.
Sorry.
We're
You're
geeking out.
Yep. So that was number 2. That's hoverboards.
All right.
So number one became number one because there's a lot of cool stuff on this list. There's so much more that could have been cool, or that is cool, that could have been in this list. I settled on this one because it's current, it's real, and it's badass. So
Oh boy.
this is something that's called
Porn.
the Talos. Have you guys heard of the Talos, suit?
Wait, the Talos suit?
Yes.
SUIT?
Yep. Well, suit is actually the S.
Is
It's
it
an
a
acronym.
3-piece suit?
No.
Okay.
So
Zoo suit, kind of.
it was.
Riot?
It's a modern suit being developed by the U.S. military. It is made of liquid armor that solidifies on command. This was first seen in a 1968 release of Iron Man.
I was about to say, this reminds me of Iron Man, like the nanotech.
Yeah, so it's very much.
Is it like an amorphous solid? What
Yes. It's a liquid armor that when electricity is applied, it solidifies and it can stop bullets.
Holy
yeah.
shit.
It's a super duper badass thing, and that by itself is going to be heavy. Naturally, it's
Sure.
you're carrying around packs of liquid, whatever it's made out of. Even if it's water, you're still carrying a layer of water on your entire body. So naturally, they decided to build it out into a full motorized electric exosuit. So it's a powered exosuit with liquid armor that hardens on command, which what that really means is sensing equipment tells it when
that
to
knows
harden.
when bullets are coming in. And
And this actually exists.
Talos, Talos. Yeah, it's a real thing. You can go look at pictures. It looks exactly what you would imagine
That's
a first
badass.
generation exosuit would look like, but it's single soldier, single wear, and they just reactive armor is what it is. It's reactive. Well, it's a different thing, but it's
Is it does it have sensory perception or does it have reactive perception? Perception's wrong choice. Reactive response. So if I have a gun and you're wearing this armor and I shoot, does it see the bullet coming and predict, or does it react once it feels the bullet hit that at a certain projection speed?
I see what you're saying. It is proactive.
So it senses it. It
Yeah.
senses it coming. Fucking A, really?
How do you spell Talos?
Talos.
Because when I Google Talos, I get
Probably
those
the old
weird
game.
alien fucking things from
Yeah.
Captain Marvel.
It is the Tactical Assault Light Operator Suit. That's what it stands for. Okay. So it's a battery-powered exosuit, which has its own, other than easy, low-hanging uses for it, picking up heavy things, carrying heavy stuff, transporting heavy stuff, but also you now have a utility on the battlefield. You need to open a couple of doors. Well, use your drill to punch through and then use your motor once you're gripped in.
Well, this feels like
rip
a little
doors
bit
open
more
and
like Terminator 2, like where he would
Yeah.
create through whatever that
Talking about the
liquid
Terminator
shit.
1 million.
So I got
or
a
whatever.
question. If let's just
T1
use the
million.
application of protecting the soldier that's wearing the suit. Let's just start there. If you're a soldier on the battlefield and you are taking a single shot, all right, let's say there's one projectile that is going to hit your suit and your suit is detecting that. So it takes a potential, let's just assume that a bullet would strike a human body at 50,000 PSI. All right, pounds per square inch of the at the impact location. All right, let's just assume that. The suit would then make that area around the impact point larger, hardening, reacting and hardening. So now you've taken that 50,000 PSI and turned it into 50,000 PSI spread across a 1 foot radius. So then you've really changed it to about 500 PSI on this 1 foot radius.
Yeah, all the way
spot.
down to your important organs. It dissipates, right?
So then instead of being a single bullet that would penetrate your body, it'd be like you getting hit by a bus at that point.
Still fucking sucks, yeah.
You're still going to get hit and it's still going to fucking hurt, but it might not like kill you. Just like I guess that's the same technology
plates,
behind Kevlar and whatever
I
else.
imagine it's probably better than Kevlar.
Well, yeah, no doubt.
And I
Yeah.
say it that way because we're talking the difference being a static, like it's just a resistive solid surface that just hits it and you eat that force, but doesn't go through and kill you.
An amorphous solid in that situation would respond kinetically. It doesn't need any kind of sensory projection to respond. It's based on the speed at which it is impacted.
Talking about like non-Newtonian fluids. That
yeah,
principle.
correct.
It hardens when you apply force.
Correct. Yes,
Reactive.
you could hit it with a hammer and it would shatter, or you could hit it with you not hit it. You could slowly push through it with your finger, and you could make your way through the particular liquid.
Adam's dick hardens when you apply force.
It does.
Hey, would you guys be super mad if I told you I had to go break the seal right in the middle of
Go
number
do it.
one?
Go do it, Ron.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's
I've been
fine.
holding
Go
it
ahead.
since like
pee.
number
You gotta
3.
pee.
You gotta do it. You gotta
Go do
no,
it.
it's fine.
My bad. I was thinking, okay,
No, it's
we're at
fine.
number 1.
We'll wait.
And then
We'll wait.
No, you're
you
fine.
know, a
Go.
little banter after. I'm like, I might piss my pants.
I know what it's like to have drinking a lot of scotch and have to pee. So go knock it out of the park.
You guys
my
should
friend.
just keep going.
Okay.
And I'll just come back in.
We
when I
will.
come
Don't
back.
worry.
Thanks, buddy. We got it. Go do it. Go do it. Go do it, buddy. Yeah. He's sleeping here tonight.
Oh my god.
Well, you're at least staying here until you're sober enough to drive.
You're
How
gonna
about
get
that?
in way more trouble if you don't.
That's
stay
true.
here.
So I guess that's my only question on that liquid is, does the suit? How does the suit spread the inertia of the projectile?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well,
You're looking at me.
I'll look at. I'll
No,
research. That's cool as fuck,
far as
though.
where I
but-
go, that's where my knowledge line ends.
Yeah. No, understood. That's
Yeah,
fucking
it's-
cool.
It looks. I mean,
It sounds like it has mechanical attributes too. So outside of the reactive response for incoming, shrapnel of some kind, it sounds like it has some kind of bio feature that would enhance certain capabilities, like lifting or
So-
sustaining or whatever.
as their one sentence explanation of those extra features is that it features a battery-powered exoskeleton, reducing body strains and various in-helmet technologies. So, obviously, all the tech that can be in a soldier's helmet now is crazy. So, I'm sure it's just more heads-up display, more environmental and stuff. Like, you can look at some of the really cool helmet tech that's going on right now. Like, all of your soldiers wear more, like GPS markers on them, and you can look out into a mountainscape. We'll say
It's turning into a video game.
yeah,
It really is.
It's so wild how like the battlefield leaders have so much information at their disposal now. Just in their helmet, they can look around and they can get, in the most extreme examples of what this tech can do, they can look around at their unit and look at somebody and get their vitals or like.
My favorite thing is now that they can sweep an entire building, as an example, in a combative area with like 4 drones that have ammunition, that have rounds that they can fire.
Yeah.
You can sweep an entire building with drones now.
You know, unmanned combat scares me. Unmanned combat scares me.
It's just the next iteration of technological
it's-
advances in warfare.
It's definitely the next step, and it's coming. There's nothing that's going to stop that. It terrifies me, though. War without loss of human capital is very different.
but also very good.
Maybe. It's loss of your own human capital, more efficient loss of the other human capital.
Eventually, it's just going to be drones on drones.
I mean, maybe.
And then the person
we
who
just gonna-
loses all their drones says, okay, we give up, don't kill us.
I would be blown away. We've never had that happen before, ever. I mean, you'd have...
It's coming, I would imagine.
I mean, you'd have bandits on the plains of nowhere that would just ransack a town for no reason than other than to piss off the opposing leader. It would just murder people. That's just what we are as an animal. It's super unfortunate to say out loud, but war doesn't stop until the people controlling those robots at this point are stopped. They're not just going to stop because they're out of robots. They're just, well, I'm not going to wait for you to make more robots. I'm going to kill you fucking drone pilot, and now you can't fly your drone. I just don't see it stopping at just the machines. I don't believe humans are capable of that once they've made the decision to just fight each other.
No, I don't disagree with you. I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think any of us do.
Nobody does, yeah. There's no answer to
I
that.
just see the next major war being a majority of high technological entities fighting each other with
certainly
minimal casualties. Just who's got the bigger technology boner.
I will
that's all it's gonna be.
And I hope you're right. That'd be great. That'd be great if humans suddenly decided to fight war and not kill each other. It just
Eventually, they'll just take it to EA Sports and just fight it out online.
yeah. Let's go play Madden.
Yeah,
Let's go play Overwatch.
Yeah, let's go.
yeah.
No,
Winner take all.
They're just going to be pointing their new super fancy technological weapons at the other people, and you just have to have better tools to stop their tools from killing the people. It's going to be AI pointed at humans and AI protecting humans, and when the AI falters, it's just going to be human loss of life.
There's a small part of me, Josh, that think Ron just went upstairs and purged. What do you think?
No,
I don't know. You got a little dribble right there on your
A little bit.
on
I
your
do
beard.
not. I did not purge.
No, I mean like you do though. Like I don't think you threw up.
I
You
do
go,
that for real.
No, I just no.
Oh, fucker.
He wiped his chin. You got him. You won. You won that.
Do you feel better?
Usually when I wipe my chin, it's for a different reason.
Yes, it is.
Do you feel good?
The seal been
That I
broken?
peed? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
When broke that seal? You know, breaking the seal is your body's way of saying I'm getting poisoned.
Yay, poison.
Huh?
You broke him, Josh. You broke him.
If a rose has its thorn.
Oh,
wrong
man.
kind of poison.
Josh.
No, it's good. Did
That
you guys have fun?
girl
Did you guys enjoy
is-
it?
Poison. Poison. Fucking great
Did you have
list.
fun? Cool.
Yeah, that was a
Was it
cool
fun?
list.
I tried. I wanted
know
it to
what?
be fun.
Ron will not remember
10
this list.
through 6 of that list was amazing. I don't know if I could name one of 5 through 1.
Ron will hear this list the first time he edits it. That's when he'll hear
Hoverboards
it. He'll hear
and
it.
Talos? Is that what you said?
He will hear it. God's hard to say.
Talos,
last one?
Talos, Talos. Yeah, I don't.
And I'm trying to
It's an
remember
ana-
the other ones of 5 through 1. I don't remember them.
Don't worry about it.
It's okay.
You're trying not to pee yourself. I respect that.
You
I
were giving
spent-
it up. You were
yeah.
giving it up to our sponsor. Oh, that's right. Our liquor is not sponsored yet. If you're interested in sponsoring the Twisted 10 for our liquor sponsor on the show, send us an email to show@thetwisted.
You literally
show@twisted10.com.
You literally
Oh,
only
man.
need to send us a bottle of Scotch bourbon or whiskey.
once a week.
Man,
That's it.
okay.
Super simple.
That's it.
I want this to happen. Ron, where can we send our listeners? Where are all the places?
If you'd like
Oh,
to
boy.
participate more in the show, hit me up on my Tinder account. No, I'm just kidding. I'm married. I don't have a Tinder account.
No,
Madison.
he's Ashley Madison. He's
obviously,
classy.
yeah, Ashley Madison, obviously,
Yeah.
but because I'm married. No, I'm just kidding. But
Pinkies up.
thetwisted10.com, where you could
Nope.
twisted10.com.
There you go. No the.
where
This is good.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
where
going.
you could find our Discord
Where's that at on the page?
at the bottom.
Hey,
There's
you
a
got it.
big
That's good.
purple button,
That's fine. It's black, but whatever.
black button.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's all right.
And you can join our Discord and just chat with us for free in our lounge. But if you really want to get super fanned out, you could join our Patreon.
The Twisted Council.
At the Twisted
Heard me
Council.
say that.
Join our Patreon where we have a special after show, which this after show should be really interesting because these guys don't know I've put like 14 different topics in our host lounge. That's our own little private stuff where we just bullshit with each other.
No, we do important business planning stuff there.
Yeah, we kind of do important business planning and stuff there.
I know.
For our after show. And tonight's after show should be interesting because I've been drinking a little bit and got a bunch of topics to talk about. And you can go to patreon.com/twisted10.
We got it.
Yeah.
I nailed it. And check out our after show where we just get on there. It's a little, it's not so formal, if you will, with the 1 through 10.
It's not a list. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a list. It's just us after the show bullshitting about whatever topics we feel like talking about.
Yeah, it's less structured. If you can believe
Sometimes
that.
related to
Absolutely.
the show. Most of the times, not at all.
usually we'll usually bring it in with telling you what show we were coming after, and then we're just talking about whatever. We could be talking about. We've talked about Wall Street and the whole GameStop thing. We've talked about barbecuing and smoking some food. Just a whole bunch of different topics.
Yeah, you guys barbecue nerded last week.
Yeah, we did. We had
It's
our
fun. I
barbecue
just don't
nerd
have the
going on.
knowledge. I was there. The brisket was super good, by the way.
Thank
good.
you. Yeah, thank you for that brisket. I actually
Yeah,
had
dude.
it the next morning for breakfast. Dipped
What-
it in a little A1.
I got the ultimate test was from my father, who is a renowned barbecuer, and he tasted it and he said it's one of the best briskets he's ever eaten. I was
There
like,
you
dude, that's
go.
fucking great.
And don't let people give you shit that you did it on an electric pellet grill.
I don't. The only people that would be you two.
The
so
point of barbecue is to have fun,
the end result is all I
and
care
the
about.
food tastes good.
Yeah, it's all I care about. It's the end
You
result.
accomplished those goals, therefore you did a good job.
We have one other plug. I guess not plug. We are looking for an equipment sponsor for the show. So
Good call.
we have a good time here. Everything you're hearing is stuff that we have just put together over the years, just our own equipment and stuff. We are looking to take the show to the next level. That true phonic spot you heard in the middle of the show, that is what we are offering. But we're looking for new mixers, new microphones. We're looking for someone to come in and just take all of our equipment just up a couple notches and
If you can make a microphone that doesn't let Ron sound drunk. And not make a
That is
microphone.
the Shure
You can
SM.
help us purchase.
That's the Shure SM7B. That's what that is.
If you can help us purchase a microphone that helps Ron sound sober when he's hammered.
yeah,
Please.
That's what that's at.
the Roadcaster.
Roadcaster Pro.
Hit us up
Mixer?
at show@twisted10.com.
Oh, what a mess! All right,
What's that a mess?
That's our best closer ever.
Hit us up. hit
like,
us.
follow, and subscribe.
HITTUS. Hit us up.
You forgot the P.
What P? The P. I
up.
just did that upstairs when I wrote the C.
All right, this has been a lot of
Time
fun.
for you
I had a good
guys to
time
turn
tonight.
it over to the end.
All right, let's go cut this after show.
Ron, you're editing this show. You're going to have the most fun listening to yourself during this show. I cannot wait. You need to record your own reactions to your episode.
Like a video reaction for
Yeah,
YouTube.
100%.
That's
All
like
right.
that death by horsecock. No one's seen the video, but no, if you go to
Oh,
YouTube,
you just went off the deep end there.
Wait, hang on, no,
You just-
hang on,
no,
save it.
Yeah, that's
Save
an
it for after show.
That's after show conversation.
death by horsecock.
We're stopping him, listeners. We're stopping him. That's it.
Wait,
All right.
they're going to be really curious about death by
Don't
horsecock.
Google that. All right, we're out of here. Thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Twisted 10. Josh, fucking kick-ass list. This is one that
Glad you
really
liked
Awesome
it.
list. I really had fun with
my
it.
tinglies are going. I mean, that was a really fucking cool list. Next week's my list. I don't have any teasers. I've got no idea what I'm going to do yet. I've got like 4 lists that I've half written, so I need to go find one of those and beef it up a little bit. I'm gonna not be dark. I will make you guys this promise. I'm not gonna take it down a dark avenue again. So we're gonna be uplifted, upbeat, and fuck it, might as well go dark. Screw it. Let's do it. Let's go back into the dark again. All right, we're going to get out of here. Thank you very much for listening to the Twisted 10. On behalf of the show, I'm Adam.
I'm drunk.
And to our host for the night,
I'm Josh.
thank you very much for listening to the Twisted 10. We'll see you guys next week.